Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Okay, if it needs to be louder, I can bump it up a little bit. I just don't want to get too loud. I think it's good though. This might be the first stream ever where just the audio is fine. Let me go check on YouTube to make sure though. Okay, yeah, I see it. Yeah, it's looking good. All right. Perfect. Okay, now I guess we just wait for folks to show up. It's work night, bro, says Gator. How you doing, dude? We got M. Roos, or is that Mr. Oos, or is it M. Russ? It's probably one of those. How you guys doing? Yeah, all right, things are good. I'm contemplating sharing it to Blue Sky, but I'm not sure if folks are too active on there right now. Beep Boop Halo Time says Wyatt. We got Alexander. What up, LNG? Not much, not much. Did you guys get a chance to listen to Warthog Radio? Episode 2 went up just yesterday, in fact. A bit of a weird time, but you know, the plan is every 2 weeks we're going to have a video up. So, I'm pretty proud of it. Yeah, it could be better. Got a project due tonight. Oh, God. Okay. Hopefully you've been working on the project a little bit. Neeb says, let her rip, brother. I can definitely let her rip. Just not over the live stream, because that would be embarrassing, quite frankly. So the plan tonight is that we are going to be populating some dead Halo playlists on the MCC. And hopefully all of you are going to join me, or at least those of you who can. Yeah, my Halo 4 Spartan looks alright. Happy with his loadouts and stuff. My Halo 2 Spartan, though. See, the problem is the customization stuff looks different when it's in-game. And I'll think that this looks cool in the menu, but then I load into the game and it ends up looking terrible. Oh, excuse me. Listen to the whole thing. I loved it. I'm glad. Yeah, I'm very pleasantly surprised by the positive reception to Warthog Radio. It's something that we had been talking about doing for a while, but we just never got around to it. Like, kept kicking the can down the road, I guess. And it was actually my wife that lit the fire under my seat to get me to finally do it. And I am very happy that people seem to be really enjoying it. I need something to distract me from the Monster Hunter hype. Yeah, the first review of Monster Hunter leaked, and it's apparently great. I crave vertical menus. Yeah, you and me both. Gonna watch 21 Pilots tonight, then I'll come back and do my part, LNG says Midnight. Alright, enjoy the 21 Pilots, dude. Would you ever make a video on why prone wouldn't work for Halo? That's not a bad idea, actually. Here, let me write that down. It's a simple explanation, which is the only trouble I think that I could possibly run into, but maybe I could factor prone into a larger video. Why prone wouldn't work in Halo. That's a good idea. All right. I'm considering getting the Master Chief Collection. Is it worth it full price, or should I wait a while for a Steam sale? I think that you can buy... You don't need to buy it full price, do you? Because each game in the Master Chief Collection is its own individual purchase.
No, I got it for like $9.99.
You did?
Yeah, the whole MCC.
Well, we got that when it was on sale, right?
Well, if it goes that cheap.
Yeah, if you can't buy the games individually, then wait for it on sale because it usually goes for like $10.
Yeah, tell him about
Um,
9.99.
my wife got it for $9.99, but if you are itching to play like a single Halo game, I'm fairly sure you can buy one game out of the collection, like probably your favorite, and then wait for it to go on sale so that then you can get the rest of the collection scooped up. Anyone have any Halo 4 helmets they feel are underrated? I do. I do. Here, let's go over to customization really quickly. Recon in Halo 4, I think, is kind of underrated. Like, oh god, where is it? I lost it. Oh wait, this is alphabetically organized. Okay. Recon, I think, is underrated. Like, it looks really cool in the Bungie games, but within the Reclaimer Saga aesthetic, which required kind of upping the complexity and the geometry of all of those old designs, I think they did a good job of translating Recon. Like, that's unmistakably the Recon helmet. It's just in that Halo 4 art style. And I think it looks good. Halo 4 Keystone? Well, the Keystone helmet is the Halo Infinite helmet, right? Here, let me see if I can find it. HIJK. Where is Keystone? Oh, there it is. That's just the Halo Infinite helmet. That one cheats because most of Halo Infinite's helmets look great. Unless they're from that weird Chimera core. Recruit also looked pretty dope. I don't think Recruit is underrated, though. I think most people agree that Recruit looks really, really good. Scout has always been my go-to helmet, especially in Halo 4. Well, Scout also, I'd say, is generally acknowledged as looking pretty good in Halo 4. It's the Recon helmet where I've seen a lot of people shit-talk it, because it doesn't look like the Bungie Recon helmet. And that one, I'm like, it doesn't, but it is a good-looking Recon helmet for Halo 4's aesthetic. Like, it's one of the better-looking helmets in Halo 4, and it is also Recon. Just excellently translated into that Halo 4 style, you know? I guess another helmet that I do think is relatively underrated in Halo 4 is this one. It's kind of like a weird remix, I guess you could say. Remix of the Bungie era Master Chief helmet, where they've kind of combined it into the Reclaimer Saga helmet that he uses in Halo 4. And there's a lot of people that don't like it. Like Luke and I, Hidden Xperia, we've actually gotten into this argument about it. He doesn't like it because he thinks the proportions look all off. And they do, but I also think, except that the proportions are different, because it's not Master Chief's helmet from those games. It's like a slightly different take on those helmets, and I think it looks pretty good. It would look off if Master Chief ever wore that helmet, but another Spartan? Yeah, that thing looks pretty cool. That's what I think, at least. Hey, baby doll. Could you hand me my laptop really quick? Thank you, honey. I love you. Trying to think of some other ones that are underrated. This thing is awful. I hate wet work. Thank you, baby. I love you. Okay. I am going to share this to Twitter and Bluesky. The stream. I had a feeling you'd be streaming today. It says Mazerai. Well, I'm happy that I delivered. I don't think that this one is underrated, because I think people also generally accept that this is a pretty good-looking helmet. Yeah, I don't know. Those are the only ones that I really think are underrated, because everything else is just, you know... I don't think I would equip to any of them. But that's just me. I think wet work is underrated. Okay, why don't you explain why you think wet work is underrated? Because at least to me, I'm thinking of Halo, and this doesn't really look like a Spartan helmet. You know, it doesn't look like UNSC tech. It looks like something from Warframe. Like just like kind of like odd looking. Okay, give me 1 second. I have a soft spot for Prefect. I think people like Prefect. Prefect is based off of the Isaac Hannaford concept art. And I think that it looks pretty cool, like all things considered. Oof. Let me mute that really quick. I'm not sure if Hellcat is in this. Hellcat I'm not the biggest fan of, but we're talking about underrated, not overrated, right? I think the EOD of Halo 4 is slightly underrated. Like, it's not as pitch perfect as the Bungie era EOD. Like, Bungie era EOD, you can change the angle that you view the helmet at, and it always looks excellent, where this EOD helmet, it only really looks good from the front on. Turn to the side, and it's like you've got this weird block right here that doesn't look quite right. That looks pretty good. Enforcer looks pretty good. Let's see what else. Aviator also looks pretty good. I think some of the lines need to go away. There's a lot of lines on it. And if you were to maybe like simplify things just a smidge. Air Assault looks great. Ladders. Wet work looks like if they tried to make AI Spartans or something. I don't know if I'd agree there, because UNSC stuff isn't like that crazy. Like, it kind of looks like a Michael Bay Transformers, I guess, where it's like lots and lots of plates. The UNSC stuff always, I'd imagine, like, if they tried to, you know, the picture of the, from the Halo Infinite art book of the robot Spartan thing. It basically kind of looks like Pathfinder from Apex Legends, but with a Spartan helmet. That's what I'd imagine the UNSC would make. I don't think they'd make something that looks so kind of like greebly and complicated. Here, I'm posting the stream. We are playing some dead playlists on MCC. Actually, I'm going to say we are repopulating some dead playlists on MCC. Join us. Here we go. Halo 4. Because we're going to be playing Flood mode. Join us for Flood on Halo 4. There we go. Beautiful. Okay. The stream started when I got into bed. Oh, perfect. You have something cozy to fall asleep to. Okay. Now I'm going to copy and paste that over to Bluesky. I should probably set up some kind of like auto tweet thing, but I'm not sure if I want Twitter to have access to my YouTube channel now. No, it's pizza time. I've been addicted to Sonic Frontiers. The supersonic music is the first time I've been hyped fighting a boss in years. Isaiah, that makes me so happy to hear. Isaiah got Sonic Frontiers for the first time. Isaiah, I'm so happy to hear that, dude. I freaking love Sonic Frontiers. Yeah, I went into Sonic Frontiers expecting it to be kind of like Sonic Colors in tone. You know, like the more lighthearted, jokey stuff. So being kind of shocked by the more somber tone of the game, and then having it all pay off with the supersonic boss fight and Kellen Quinn vocals, it was, God, that is an experience I will never have again. Perfect. Okay. We are good. Hey, y'all, it's lurkin' time, says Frozen Fire. Well, Frozen Fire, it is time to kill some Flood. I've never liked Aviator, even in Halo Infinite. Aviator, I think, is a good helmet that can appeal to a very specific type of person. Basically, pilots. Because it does kind of look like pilot goggles, you know? Yeah, Recon's fine. Okay. There's an Operator helmet in Halo 4. There is. I kind of like Operator. Yeah, Operator's also alright. Here, let's do it. Hayabusa is such a cool looking helmet, dude. They had like the impossible task of taking a ninja and turning it into a Spartan helmet. And they did it. Against all odds, they were able to figure it out. It's definitely the odd one, though, in Halo 3. EVA looks great. EOD looks great. Like, I don't think any of the ones from Halo 3 really miss. No, not even Rogue. Rogue's fine. Scout, maybe, is the one in Halo 3 where it needed a little something. Just something, and I can't put my finger on what it is. But for the most part, all the other ones hit. Okay. But without further ado, let's start up matchmaking. What custom wallpaper are you using? Oh, custom wallpaper for customization HUD? It is a Halo 2 scrolling background thing. It's on a Workshop. Yeah, just look up Halo 2 and you'll see it. For those of you who watched the podcast, who watched Warthog Radio, which check the community tab, and you'll see the link to Warthog Radio Episode 2, which is the podcast I run with Laper Larden. It's pretty good. In fact, I made an overlay for the podcast because I didn't want it to just be like boring gameplay footage. I wanted it to feel kind of like, you know, like, hey, we're all hanging out here. So I made it look like Larden and I are hanging out in a Halo 2 UI. It's cool. It's cool. And I had to make it from scratch, and I'm really happy with the way that it came together. Okay, social games. Here we go. Off to the races. Scout looks too big. See, the Scout in Halo 3 fits that Halo 3 aesthetic. Like, if you want to know what, like, if a helmet would look good or not in Halo, all you have to do, this is at least like my mental check that I do. So we go over to, okay, Scout, where is Scout? There's Scout. We pull it out. Look at those big stompers. Look at the gigantic fists, like the super broad shoulders, that Halo 3 body proportion. You know, like how kind of awkward the Spartans look in Halo 3, because they're very stylized. Now picture this in like an anime. Or like a manga, like that drawing and art style. That would slap. That would go very hard. And that's kind of my judge for if something looks good. And I do think that Scout helmet would look really cool. But for my personal tastes, not sure what I would tweak. I see why Sage is so memeable. I hope in Sonic Frontiers 2 Sage and Metal Sonic meet. I need that sibling bond for those two goobers. Yeah. God, Sage is a good character. I like Sage quite a lot. Oof. You should check out OG Halo 2 multiplayer via Insignia. Yeah, we could definitely do that. The reason that we're doing the Master Chief Collection is so that things are a little bit more accessible. Wow, is there like nobody playing Flood mode? No, there are people playing Flood mode. There has to be. Excuse me. See, there we go. MCC struggles just a little bit with finding the matches. What are you searching? We're searching Halo 4's Infection mode. And the reason that we're searching that is because we're trying to repopulate some old playlists that aren't played quite as often. We're in. We are in. Here we go. Have you ever thought about reviewing any Mass Effect? Long ago. I don't think that I have the patience for it anymore. Not that Mass Effect isn't great. More so that there are... I'm not as passionate about Mass Effect as I am some other topics. Come on, damn it. Like, Mass Effect, the only thing that I think I have the energy to really go in depth about is Mass Effect 1 is the best one of the trilogy. Mass Effect 2, I think, might be my least favorite. And Mass Effect 3 was alright. Which is insanely controversial. This might be a hot take, but Halo 4 had the best Infection. I think Halo 4 had really fun Infection matchmaking. But I think just on the grounds of sanity, I don't think I can give Halo 4 that award, because as somebody who was like a Forge and custom games addict on the Xbox 360, Flood was a huge step down, because you couldn't disable the Flood aspect of it. All zombie players are locked into this like claw arm. You can't disable it. So modes like Fat Kid, Desert Bus, like none of those are buildable in Halo 4, just because of that weird restriction, them not letting you turn off the Flood mode. And that's the only reason why I can't give it to Halo 4, because I do like other aspects of it, like the Flood theming. I think is actually a lot of fun. They sound like dying orcas. Something interesting is that this sound effect for the Flood, like the like that weird screeching that they do, it's a stock sound effect that Microsoft uses. I'm not sure if it's part of some kind of internal stock sound library that Microsoft Game Studios use, but you can hear it in other Xbox games. That exact same, like... the one that immediately springs to mind is, what's it called? The Leaper or something like that in Gears of War 4. The thing that hops around on the tables. That thing makes the Flood sounds from Halo 4. You can see them on the radar. Dude, I miss this HUD a lot in Halo. Like, this HUD style. I have gotten used to Halo Infinite putting the weapon cradle down where the score is. But this will always just be more comfortable for my eyes. Being able to see my ammo count, my grenades, and my health all above the enemy players. Less micro eye movements for me to make in the heat of combat. Halo Reach was built differently. Well, Halo Reach was Bungie's goodbye. That's why it felt like it was built different, you know? Hey, Mr. Nowhere's here! Not to be parasocial, but your compliments to my little Sonic OC has honestly stoked my creative juices. I'm thinking of grabbing some digital art equipment when the financial situation is more manageable. Thanks for the motivation you demand, Mr. LNG. Mr. Nowhere, that's awesome to hear, dude. And I appreciate the $50 donation. That's really kind of you. People are teabagging right here, so let me do the customary return teabag. Dude, that's awesome to hear that you're going to be getting digital art equipment. The wife has an app. We share the same iTunes account, and there's an app that she uses called Procreate, or used. So when I got my iPad, that's what I used. In fact, I need to get back into drawing because for a hot minute, I was getting pretty good at using Procreate, but then I fell off pretty hard. And it's been about a year. I need to return to it. Dude, I appreciate the $50. Is your plan to draw more Sonic OCs? See how much your skill has improved? I think I had a Sonic OC, and I think it was literally just Shadow the Hedgehog, but the red parts were green. And that was it. Halo 5 was my favorite HUD. Halo 5 was the last time that we had that classic style Halo HUD. Because after that, they did the big HUD redesign for Halo Infinite to get it more in line with how other first-person shooters were doing it. Because Halo, something that it's one of those things where it makes total sense to us because we're Halo fans, but for other people, it's really odd. Halo's crosshair is blue rather than white, and its HUD elements are blue rather than white. And it's something, you know, that I guess for other people, it makes it a little bit hard to kind of... makes it a little bit hard to notice just due to accessibility reasons. So for Halo Infinite, they didn't want to do full-on white designs for everything, like the weapon cradle and all of that stuff, but they did compromise for the crosshair, and just the crosshair. Good evening, gamers. Probably not Sonic, lol. I've had a world of thought about this for the longest time, about the last human in a fantasy Lord of the Rings-esque setting, and drawing that appeals to me. So, what, Mr. Nowhere, what's your drawing talent? Like, are you more of like an environment guy or like a character guy? Characters. Because I'm pretty alright at like, I'm not going to say good, I think I'm alright. I haven't practiced in ages. I'm alright at drawing characters. It's environments where I struggle, and then if you ask me to place a character into an environment, that's where everything kind of falls apart. The one thing I hate about Halo 5 and Infinite is forcing centered crosshairs. Yeah, I wish that they'd give us the ability to lower the crosshair in Halo Infinite, as well as Halo 5. Because I think Halo 5, especially with the enhanced mobility stuff, a lowered crosshair would feel pretty comfortable. Because Halo 5 maps have a lot of verticality because of the clamber and the ground pound. Like, I'm thinking of Plaza and how that would feel if you had a lowered crosshair. And you'd be able to run around on the street level while also getting that overhead view. Good talent, no practice, unfortunately. Character-based faux show. Okay, so you've got the drawing brain. There are some people where they do. Some people pick up drawing a lot quicker than others. But at the end of the day, anybody is capable of drawing if they practice hard enough. But it's good to know that you're one of those people where your brain is predisposed to being good at drawing to begin with. Something that I've gotten really... I can't tell if I'm not good at it, or if I've gotten worse at it, or if I've always not been very good at it, and I'm only noticing now, but proportions are something I'm not great at. Like, I could not draw a human to save my life, because I'd get the limb lengths all wrong. But if I were to draw individual body parts, like, okay, so you know how hands historically are some of the hardest things to draw? I'm in this, like, awkward situation where I'm okay, like, I'm pretty good at drawing hands. I'm really good at drawing hands. It's just attaching those hands then to a normally proportioned human body is where I run into problems. I feel like wall running helps out enhanced mobility a lot. If you are doing an enhanced mobility shooter, I think wall running is one of those things where it's like, just do it, you know? Just do it. The player base will like it. I'm glad that Halo never did wall running, though, because I feel like at that point, you'd pretty much be you'd be sacrificing a lot of level design, creativity, and freedom if you implemented wall running into a Halo game. Because then how do you control players and where they go if any wall could be a vehicle for them to get to a different spot on the map? As well as how do you calm down those players once they get really good at the wall running, which is a problem Titanfall ran into as time went on. You know, this thing is one of the first microtransactions I ever bought for a video game. It was the Halo 4 gold skins for your weapons. And this was back when Halo didn't really have microtransactions. It was still map packs. And they released this thing, which, this is crazy, okay? It was $7, and you could get, like, 5 or 6 different pieces of armor, as well as skins for all the weapons in the game that are themed around gold. And it was, like, all of that for, like, $7. And it's like now we've gotten to the point where $30 will get you a single armor thing in Halo Infinite. I like the wooden stocks and grips. I do too. I do too. That's what I like about it. RoboQuest does something neat by suggesting a lower crosshair at the start of the game, or you can choose centered. Yeah, I saw that. RoboQuest, it tells you up front that it would prefer that you play the game with the lowered crosshair, but it lets you set it to centered if you'd like.
30 seconds left.
This is... Oh, man. Infection is hard to play while also checking out the chat, because Infection involves a lot of just quickly responding to something spontaneous. You know? At any moment, a flood is just gonna leap from around the corner, and I have like a second to react to it. And if I'm looking at the chat when that happens... The Halo 4 shotgun reload animation is so nice and crunchy. Well, it's just, funny enough, it's just the reach animation, I believe, actually. Let me... Once that came out of my mouth, I felt the need to double check. Whoa, what's going on here? Okay. I think they were just goofing off. Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, I think it's just... something about that pump looks a little bit off. No, it is the reach animation. I mean, the sprint animation, I think, is different. Like, that is just the animation from Halo Reach. You can tell some of the animations in Halo 4 that don't look quite right. The reason they don't look quite right is because they are just pulled from Halo Reach. And so the it's kind of like a Combat Evolved Anniversary situation. In Combat Evolved Anniversary, a little bit of context, when you're in the remastered graphics, things like the sniper rifle reload look really wrong. And the reason why is because the model that they use in the anniversary graphics, it does not line up with the geometry of the original Combat Evolved sniper rifle. So it's like, it looks like Master Chief is like pulling on pretend parts of the gun and stuff. What are you up to tonight, Mr. Nowhere? If they ever did a carbine version of the Magnum, what type would y'all use? Like semi-auto, dual-wield, etc. A carbine version of the Magnum? What do you mean by that? I find these party shooters to be better split screen. My personal favorite zombie mode is just COD Zombies. COD Zombies is awesome, man. Or at least it used to be awesome. Oh, excuse me. I'm pretty disappointed with Black Ops 6. I guess I'm not disappointed. It's kind of what I thought it would be. I guess what I'm more disappointed about is that they didn't make it better. They just kind of doubled down on the things that aren't really working. Ayo, 4 on the eggs box in big 2025. There's some stocks that you can attach to pistols to basically make them carbines. Oh, that's what you mean by carbine. Okay, I was thinking of like the Halo carbine. Gotcha. If you could turn the Magnum into like a carbine type weapon, I think I'd want it to be fully automatic. Because at that, I'm trying to think. The thought of like a carbine type Halo pistol, that, like, my brain is breaking thinking of that. Just because, like, Halo weapons in my brain are not, like, real weapons. Like, the thought of disassembling a Halo assault rifle, it's like an alien concept to me. I'm like, no, they all get built compact and, like, factory made. Like, it has to look like this. You can't do anything else to it. The COD's popularity continues to surprise me. The games have been questionable since Black Ops 3. I don't think it surprises me, I guess, because those Call of Duty games, they're very good at instant gratification. At kind of, they don't challenge you very much. They just kind of give you exactly what you need to feel like you're having fun. Like, a lot of it, I think, is in the UI design as well as the audio design. You think about Call of Duty and you think about that, like, thwip, thwip, thwip of the hit marker. Like, a lot of thought goes into the sound design of those things. You know, the guitar riffs when you rank up and stuff like that. If you were to strip away that Call of Duty UI, I doubt the series would be nearly as popular as it is. And that's not to discount, you know, the actual gameplay, map design, and all of that, because those also contribute to that hacking your brain aspect of why Call of Duty is so popular. But I think Call of Duty is something that you grow out of it, because eventually there comes a point where it stops working because it keeps doing the same thing for too long, and then you realize that there isn't a lot here that's making you happy anymore. You try out something else, and then you've moved on, and then Call of Duty just courts the younger generation. Like, I'm definitely, I've aged out of Call of Duty. When I was a teenager, Call of Duty was my whole life, but not so much anymore. The zombies mode in Black Ops 3 is one of the best they've done. The Gobblegums are a poor attempt at loot boxes, but the actual gameplay is very good. For Black Ops 3? Yeah. Yeah. There's some things that I would change. They, during Black Ops 3's life cycle, they reverted, this slowdown that would happen. If a zombie smacked you, you would, your sprint would slow down. And then you'd have to kind of like wind back up your sprint speed. And then they removed that. So now if a zombie smacks you, nothing bad happens. You know, you can keep running at full speed. I think that was a mistake. They should have brought that back. Because I think all that ended up doing was making... Black Ops 3 is already like the easiest version of the zombies mode. And all that did was end up making it even easier. Damn it. My sensitivity's too low. Did you see that? That was like slow-mo following him. So hang on. And then also another aspect of the gameplay in Black Ops 3 that I think probably needed another looking at was, I know this is unpopular, but I don't think that the weapon kits belong in zombies. I don't think that you should be able to customize your weapons before you start the match. Even if you don't spawn with them, I don't think you should be able to go over to like a KN-44 on the wall and know that it will come equipped with like fast mags and stuff like that. I think that that is something that should be a map interaction of some kind. Like Black Ops, I think of like World at War, where it's like you get the M1 Garand, and it's the M1 Garand, you know, 8 shots, and then you have to reload it. But if you shove that thing into the Pack-a-Punch machine, it gets a grenade launcher with 3 grenades before those need to be reloaded, as well as like a much, much bigger magazine. Like, you don't really know what you're gonna get until you Pack-a-Punch it, and how it's gonna dramatically transform the way that you use the weapon. And I think the problem with the loadout system in Black Ops 3 of letting you customize every weapon that you can get out of the box or on the wall is, well, now Pack-a-Punch, all it does is increase the damage and that's it. There we go. Okay. Black Ops 3 also increased the amount of hits to die to 3. That's another one I don't like too much. I think preserving a little bit of that early game tension is really important to the zombies. Because 3 hits before you go down, that's a lot of... It's very generous, I guess. Now, thankfully it's not, you know, nearly as bad as like what Black Ops 4 did. And Cold War by extension, those games went even further. So Black Ops 3, there is still a bit of early game tension, but I think the 2-hit down system was... That's my preferred pacing. I want to start with the M1911, get 10 points per hit, and I want my chalk drawings to be bear weapons. Yeah, like, I think, just... What's really... There's this thing in the zombies community. So there's this zombie podcast called the Afterlife Podcast, and I freaking love... That's a good podcast, dude. Like, really good stuff from those guys. But, there's this talking point from some of their guests, as well as some of, you know, like, the hosts, where they talk about how they think zombies needs to be, like, a power fantasy of you getting more powerful, and I don't know if I agree with that, because I think the power fantasy aspect of zombies is unfortunately how zombies got in the position that it is right now. I think zombies is at its best when you always feel like you are just a couple of rounds away from being overrun. you know? Like, every decision you make is gonna help you, it's gonna help you survive a couple more rounds. Like, there should always be that back of your mind, like, pressure from the mode. And this is maybe me coming from, like, Call of Duty World at War, where things were a lot more difficult. One of my favorite aspects of World at War, this is like me, like, back in my day, our zombies were Nazis, and we loved shooting them. Like, in World at War, there was this mechanic that was, it was not deliberate, but what it did to the gameplay was extremely positive for the flow of the mode. They had this system where if you get killed by a zombie, rather than just dying, you go into a down state on the floor, and you're just sitting there on the floor with your little pistol waiting to be revived by a friend. And the problem is, what happens if you die in, like, a hallway, you know? What if happens if you die in a hallway or a doorway? Like, could you block zombies? And the way that they solved that was they had this system where you'd kind of get magnetized to zombies, and then they could, like, move you out of the way on the floor so that they could get through you. And what happened was that also sort of happened while you were still alive. So if a zombie got close enough to you, you'd, like, freeze, and you couldn't move. You were, like, stuck to the zombie like glue. You'd be hopping and trying to get away, and it felt like molasses, and usually zombies would kill you that way. The community didn't like it, and they removed it in Black Ops. And the thing is, I liked that a lot. There's another zombie horde shooter that did something like that, but as a deliberate mechanic, which was a killing floor. And in that game, if a zombie gets close enough to you, your view gets whipped around to face the zombie, and your movement is locked. Because it's supposed to emulate the feeling of being grabbed by a zombie and held in place. And in order to free yourself, you've got to kill the zombie. And I thought the gameplay was more tense in World at War because of that. Like, if you touched a zombie, it felt like they were grabbing you and holding you in place. Do you think Destiny is salvageable? I think Destiny is on its way out the door. Like, I don't think Destiny can ever become the Taken King era of Destiny ever again. Like, that ship has sailed. It's been too long. Destiny isn't exciting anymore as a franchise. Nothing it's doing is new anymore, because most of the industry has kind of adapted and emulated those things. But I think the most that'll ever happen with Destiny is it'll become a niche game. And I don't know. The current route that Destiny has taken, the direction it's gone in since Bungie became independent, and since they're not independent anymore, but you know what I mean. Once they got away from Activision, the route Bungie took the Destiny franchise in just doesn't really interest me. It feels really awkward, kind of how low budget Destiny has gotten since, you know, for all the issues of Activision, I feel like some of the coolest moments, the most exciting, like, culturally relevant gaming moments, they happened during the Activision years, while all of the stuff after they left Activision has felt very kind of like low budget and compromised and kind of lame, you know? It's almost like you have, you know, Destiny, Forsaken, Rise of Iron, the launch of Destiny 2, which sucked, but the production value was there. Then you had Forsaken. And then Shadowkeep was kind of a dip in quality. And then after that, it felt almost like direct-to-DVD sequels of Destiny compared to the production value. Oh, production value and budget of how things used to be. Hopefully that explains things. What I'm trying to say is I think that the Witch Queen DLC was not nearly as good as people say. And I think Destiny fans have just kind of gaslit themselves into thinking it was that good. Taken King was cooler. And Forsaken was definitely better. The vibes of Forsaken were much, much, much better. Killing Floor mentioned. Yeah, Killing Floor 3 looks like dog shit, dude. I've got nothing nice to say about Killing Floor 3. That game looks poopy. Super, super bad. Here, we're gonna hide over here. Your boy got an early night off. Originally worked till 11 tonight, but I'm getting off now. That is the best feeling in the world, Mr. Nowhere. When you get the night off. When you get to go home from your shift early. They're like, okay. When you're coming back and unloading the groceries, when you get the night off early, and when you've taken a shower after a long physical day, whether it's working, lifting things, or like just after a long, grueling, sweaty day and your feet are killing you, getting in the shower and then getting in clean clothes. So it's groceries, getting the night off of work, and taking a shower after a long day. Those are the three things that feel great. Killing Floor 3 looks dead in the water. Yeah, I'm, like, laughing at kind of the weird, baffling decisions that they make. Like, all of that aside, I am worried about Killing Floor 3, because it looks like they made the wrong game. It is very worrying. Like, I completely get why they made all of those choices, like why they took the gameplay in the direction that they did, and it's worrying though, because that's not the kind of game that Killing Floor is, you know. Everything's all right as long as Killing Floor 1 has modded maps. What worries me is the studio, Tripwire, because I'm trying to think what else Tripwire does. Like, I doubt that Killing Floor is, like, their main IP. Tripwire, I've seen their logo on other stuff. All I know them for is Killing Floor. But if Killing Floor right now, Killing Floor 3, like, they've kind of, like, internally based all of their kind of, like, budget forecasts on the success of Killing Floor 3, then I'm worried. Because whatever their next game is going to be, it's going to suffer, because Killing Floor 3, I don't think is going to hit the mark that they were hoping for. And I'm worried about the employees there. What are your all thoughts on COD Extinction? I personally thought it would have helped to stop zombies becoming the same third mode for 5 years straight. I thought Call of Duty Ghosts Extinction mode was awesome. It was awesome, dude. It was Gears of War's Horde mode, but in first person. Extinction was great. The only map that I think didn't quite hit was that map with the zero gravity. Or not zero gravity, but low gravity. And that's because it felt very, kind of like hacked into the Call of Duty engine. Like, it wasn't very organic feeling, you know? It was clear somebody just set the jump height to something, and then they forgot to disable the feedback of when you take fall damage. So you jump really high, hit the ground like a rock, do the, like, of the legs breaking, but you wouldn't actually take damage for it. So it didn't feel good to play on. I prefer peaking the audio than being in a can. Oh no, am I peaking the audio? Here, let me, how does it sound now? How does the audio sound now? Does it sound good? Sorry if I sounded like a can before, and then if I was peaking the audio. Hopefully the levels sound good now. Every Destiny clone is bad, just like how every Warframe clone ends up being horrible. Well, the Killing Floor 3 is really confusing because I know I can see it in my head what they were doing. Like, I can see the meeting when finally pre-production ends and there's a meeting where the game director shows the employees the kind of game that they're going to start production on. And I can see what he's saying. He gets up, you know, he has the projector or the screen or whatever they have, and he shows Killing Floor 1 and Killing Floor 2 and the history of the Killing Floor franchise, and that it's this very niche thing. Killing Floor 3, it's been 10 years, there aren't a lot of games like this on the market, and this is Killing Floor's chance to break out. Here's one of the aspects of Killing Floor that is tough for a lot of new players. It's that they usually get very overwhelmed in the first couple of rounds. They don't really know how to fight back against the Zeds. So they want players to feel like they have an easier time figuring out what they want their playstyle to be by just picking a specialist. And the specialists are all providing different kinds of gameplay experiences. If there's a more defensive player, they can pick this specialist. And, you know, we're going to simplify things a little bit. The weight system. Sometimes people don't get the guns they want at the trader because they have to trade different weapons that they felt like, so they're getting rid of that. And then so that new players feel like if they're backed into a corner and they have no way to get out of it, we're going to empower them with an ultimate ability that they can pop by pressing the right bumper and the left bumper at the same time. So it's a Killing Floor for everyone. Like, I can see that meeting in my head. And that's probably what informed a lot of the gameplay decisions that went into Killing Floor 3. And I get it. You know, I'm not going to be like the asshole YouTube video maker who's like, the broad audience, DEI woke. Like, I understand as a company, you know, if you see a chance to make Killing Floor 3 a gigantic success, you're probably going to take it, you know? Rather than like, nah, I think I'm going to stay as this small niche little thing. You're probably going to jump for it, you know? But I think that they went about it the wrong way. I really do think they went about it the completely wrong way. And I'm really worried now. LNG, what are your thoughts on Bioshock? Bioshock Infinite is a game that I used to think was really good. But as I've gotten older, I've realized it's not actually that good. Bioshock 2 is okay. Its biggest sin, I think, is that it doubles down on the action stuff while kind of leaving... It's not a very claustrophobic game, Bioshock 2. It's very, like, wide open arenas, lots of focus on, like, action and combat, where Bioshock 1, I think, struck a better balance between action and horror. So those are my... and Bioshock 4, I think, is going to be a mess. Those are my thoughts. Morning. I miss anything? Also, I finally saw Sonic 3. Okay, Andrew, what are your thoughts on Sonic 3, dude? I'm so excited. I've been waiting for you to see Sonic 3. Can't wait for that Project 06 stream in the foreseeable future. Oh, it'll happen one day. Did you all see the ex-BioWare dev who called out gamers who celebrate devs losing their jobs? I feel like that could easily be aimed at a certain part of the Halo community who cheered when 343 got gutted. Yeah, that's, man. Here's the thing that's tough, and I'm thinking about doing this in my videos going forward. When people think of game developers, they usually think of the entire studio. And what I've grown to learn is that a game development company has developers and non-developers within it. And usually the reason that a bad game comes out is because of the non-developers, like the people on business, the money people, the people who are looking at data, like not that data analysts are bad, but usually they get a little bit too data driven, and they kind of forget the human aspect of it that comes from the developers. And then you've got the developers, you know, where their job is to make playable content, and they kind of understand what's fun and what's not fun. And the problem that usually happens with a lot of bad games is business gets involved, and they start trying to tell the people who know how to make fun things what is actually fun, because it makes money. And the developers have no choice but to, you know, it's their job to work with business. Some developers are able to push back against business, and then others just, they don't have the power internally at the studio, you know, the studio's political setup to be able to push back against that kind of internal pressure. Bioshock 2 is the best in the series, in my opinion. It's the game I replay the most. I don't like it nearly as much as Bioshock 1. But I can see why somebody would think that it's their favorite. It's one of those things where it's not mine, but I completely get why somebody else would view it as theirs. There's a Bioshock 4 coming. There is. It's been coming for about 7 years now. And it's been, like, rebooted. I can't remember how many times. I don't have faith in it, man. Bioshock is less of, like, it's so hard to explain. The context of Bioshock is that it was a spiritual successor to System Shock. And I don't think Bioshock was not a franchise. It shouldn't have ever been a franchise. Because you can do the Bioshock 2 thing of more Rapture, I guess, which is kind of like boring creatively, because you can't make Rapture mysterious again. Or you can do the Bioshock Infinite thing, which is like all these like multiverse stuff, at which point it's like, so Bioshock becomes a franchise always about a guy stuck in a city? So is like Deus Ex Bioshock? Like, you know, it's just Bioshock 1 was a very, very special little game. I don't think it was ever designed to be a franchise. And I think it's a mistake to try to franchise out Bioshock. The book was good. Yeah, the book for Bioshock was good. Just, I guess, like, the story, the book of Rapture, like, you know, that city in Bioshock, like, it's closed. We've told the story of Rapture. There's nothing else you can do. LNG, will you get a PS5 if Halo games come to the PlayStation? I'll probably get a PlayStation 6. Or if the PlayStation 6 gets announced and it's, like, barely an upgrade from the PS5 Pro, then I'll just get a regular PS5 at that point. Because these video game consoles, the only ones I'm being impressed by now are Nintendo. You've entertained me since I was in my young teens. Now I'm old enough to face lawsuits. Thanks for keeping my love of Halo alive all these years, says Brian Lee. Dude, that is incredibly heartwarming to read. I'm honored to have given you so many years of content through thick and thin, highs and lows, memes and dreams. I'm glad that you're still with me, dude, and I really appreciate the $10. And I hope that you've seen I'm now doing a podcast with another Halo content creator. So during this drought, I'm working very hard to provide the Halo community with more entertainment. And I appreciate it a lot, man. That's very kind of you to say, and thank you so much for the $10. I DM'd my overall thoughts on the film on Discord, says Andrew. Would you like me to read it out loud, or should we keep spoiler stuff? Oh, there is a gameplay. Okay. I'm not sure if you've recorded your thoughts. Thoughts and opinions on Space Marine 2. My computer is not good enough to run Space Marines 2 at a decent setting, and I don't want to do that game an injustice. And currently, funds do not permit me getting it on the Xbox. It's a little bit outside of my price range. So for now, all I can be is that meme of Squidward, of him like looking out the window and seeing all the other gamers like having fun with Space Marine 2, because it looks like a game that I would love a lot. But for now, I must suffer inside of my giant Easter Island head. Headed out. See y'all, says Wyatt. See you later, man. Anyone up animating their SFM? Oh man, some of you guys are animating stuff. Dude, I'm man. Okay, so I've downloaded Blender, and I think something I want to do this summer, if I have the time, is learn how to do Blender, because I want to start doing weapon showcase animations for my evolution videos. The only worry that I have is that because it'll be in Blender, the shaders and the lighting and stuff will not look correct. You know, like the Halo 3 Magnum will not look like the Halo 3 Magnum is supposed to look, because it's being rendered in Blender. And I'm worried about that, but... Will you play Halo on Switch too? Oh, you know it. Ken Levine's been working on Judas for 10 years at this point. It's definitely going to be a catastrophe if it ever comes out. Judas is... Judas. Yeah. Judas. Here. I think we've reached the end of what we can do with flood mode. So, let's do something else. Let's see, zone control. Oddball. Here, let's search Halo 4. I'm gonna be okay, guys. If you guys want to join us, we're gonna be looking at 4v4 Halo 4. We are going to be searching Disable Precision Slayer. We're going to be searching Auto Slayer because that has your custom loadouts. And we're going to be... Don't do Flag and Bomb, because Capture the Flag is a miserable experience unless you're in a LAN environment. These are the 3 that we're going to be searching in, okay? And let's see if we can get some games going in Halo 4's 4v4. Don't worry, it's only a reaction video, no spoilers. Gotcha. Is it a meme? Yeah! Okay, that was very loud, I'm sorry. Yeah, that was... Oh god, like I couldn't sleep after coming out of the theaters from seeing Sonic Movie 3 because I was like on a high that lasted. It's still going on. Like I still feel like sort of like I'm floating on a cloud. Cuz that movie was just I knew it was going to be decent. Like I knew going in that it was going to be decent. I did not expect it to be great. Halo nostalgia hits different these days. Thanks for making content about such a good series. Penguin, I appreciate you saying that, man. I'm trying my hardest to make good content. I remember the LNG intro with the bar setting. Oh man, I remember that too. Yeah, somebody made that for me. And it was all my idea, and in hindsight, I don't think it was very good. It was charming, but I remember that.
Coffee shop.
Yeah, it was like a coffee shop or something.
I thought it was like a coffee shop, like open.
Oh no, it's not like the being, the light coming on. This is a different one. It was a camera on the floor looking up at it was outside of a coffee shop, looking up at the sky with the light turning on, and you could see a ring in the sky. Like it was a coffee. Well, it was made in Blender, and the guy did it very quickly for me, so he didn't have a lot of time to polish it up. Oh God, 10 years. LNG, do you watch Wendigoon? Of course I do. I feel like most people do. I mean, why people call Halo 4 garbage or trash? Is it because of the campaign? It's because of the multiplayer, and also I think some folk just, they don't move on. Like, at this point, you know, the people that get genuinely, like, they have, like, an aggressively negative emotional reaction to Halo 4. I'm, like, this released in 2012, man. Like, move on. If you're not already in those Discords, I would highly recommend joining the Halo Archive. I'm actually in that Discord, and the Halo Mods Discord, that one as well, for help with Blender and Halo asset stuff. Well, the problem is I also need to learn how to use Blender, period, because when I open up Blender, I don't know what I'm looking at. Billy! That's actually a good point. Late Night Comms. Yeah, remember Late Night Comms when that was the name of my channel? Gamers are a bunch of babies. Yeah, gamers are a bunch of babies. Let's pick up the battle rifle. I don't know why this map gets gassed up so much by the Halo community. I think this was one of Halo 4's weakest maps. Like, when I think of Halo 4 maps that I'd want to immortalize, there's a lot of better ones. Oof. Okay, we're gonna get the overshields. Good old carbine. I don't think people will move on from Halo 4 discourse. I feel like I see The Last of Us 2 discourse every week on the Brain Dead Bird app. Yeah, well, those are usually, you know, The Last of Us 2 type outrage and anger. It usually comes from those that are operating in bad faith, you know, where they've built careers off of making content for social media, complaining about stuff. You know, like, all of their stuff is negative. All their stuff is about, you know what I'm talking about, like the grifters. Usually most people, when they don't like something, they have, like, I guess, like, the emotional maturity to just be like, damn, that sucked. And then they move on to the thing that they like. They don't, like, stick around, you know? They'll only ever usually say that they thought a thing sucked if the topic is brought up. Like, they don't turn it into their personality. I can see how some SA2 fans may be miffed with certain event changes and character omissions, but it served a tighter cinematic narrative for the better, in my opinion. Yeah, like I think, like, the word adaptation is missed in some Sonic fans. Because this is not the game universe. There are so many things that are different. Like, the Space Colony arc could not have happened because we don't have a Space Colony arc, you know? Like, how could the Sonic movie have convinced people that, yes, back in the 1970s, the United States built a futuristic space colony? that people and scientists lived on. Like, no, none of that was going to happen. They hadn't even done a Sonic Adventure 1 adaptation yet. Like, they're still getting to the point where they're going to explain the difference between the Chaos Emeralds and the Master Emerald. Like, the Sonic movie universe is so different that it could not have been a one-to-one adaptation. And so I think what they did was really good. And in fact, I think some of the things they did were outright clever. Like the way that, and it wasn't intentional, you know, it's just one of those happy coincidences that they took advantage of, and it actually strengthened the story. The fact that Sonic, his mother, for lack of a better term, also died when he was very young. So like somebody close to him died. And the fact that they were able to connect that to Shadow. It's like, obviously, when they were writing that first Sonic movie, Shadow was never a part of the equation, but it's a happy coincidence, and it worked to serve the story. It's just great writing, dude. Sonic Movie 3 rocks. Yeah, Rebecca and I were legit, like, into, like, we were people who are, yeah, we were in our 30s crying in the movie theater at the scene where Shadow and Sonic talk on the moon. Just, that movie had a lot of heart, man. And maybe some of that is just due to what we're going through in our personal life. You know, grief is a very relevant... It's very relevant to our life right now. And so that Sonic movie having such a, like, important message about grief, it resonated really strong. Just good stuff. I'm really proud of that movie. I'm really happy with it. What's up, LNG? Love you, lad, says Opti Thomas. I love you too, man. We are currently playing some dead playlists on the MCC so that we can hopefully get a bit of a population going, you know? Get people to try them out. Is Longclaw a reference in Sonic games, or was that character just completely new? It was a character that was completely new. Because Sonic's never had... I mean, unless you count, like, you know, unless you count those stupid Archie comics, Sonic has never had, like, parents. Well, to be fair, Sonic Sat AM had parents, and that was a little bit cooler, but... Yeah, Sonic in the games has always just been Sonic, you know? Like, where does he come from? I don't know. He's Sonic. So that movie invented the character of Longclaw, so that Sonic had, like, a kind of like a tragic backstory. And I think it was incredible how they connected it to Shadow. I'm loving Warthog Radio, says Dusty. That's what I like to hear. I'm so glad that Warthog Radio is doing well. There is going to be a new episode of Warthog Radio every 2 weeks. That's the way that we're going to do things. And then, hey, if we can keep up with it, maybe what I can do is I can get an editor to edit down, like, those things, get them going, and then I can pass that off, and then maybe we can do every week. I'm not going to get ahead of myself right now, because right now we have a good thing going, and there's a flow that's working, and I don't want to mess that up by getting too ambitious. And I don't want it to distract me from late-night gaming. Did you grow up watching Sonic Shorts animations on Newground? Of course I did. I not just like those shorts, I played those games. Super Sonic Bros. What was it called? The Smash Bros. Clone? Where they took all the sprites and animations and stuff from Sonic Advanced as well as Sonic Battle for the Game Boy Advance. And it was a Smash clone, but with Sonic characters. Halo 4 multiplayer was a big letdown. Call of Duty Halo Edition did not work well. It definitely didn't work well, which is why they course-corrected with Halo 5. And I think You know, the problem with the Call of Duty route that they went, I don't even think, they tried to copy Call of Duty, that's the problem. I don't think it's that simple. I don't think it's that simple. I think the reason that it didn't... Because imagine if they were able to copy Call of Duty almost perfectly, I think Halo 4 would have done a lot better. The problem I think that Halo 4 had when copying Call of Duty is... Call of Duty is a bit more complicated with its like weapon customization. So it's like you pick your gun, then you've got to pick your attachment for the gun. Then, you know, you've got 3 perks to choose from. And, you know, some of the Call of Duty games at the time were doing pro versions of those perks. And then from there, you also had like your kill streak rewards. And Halo making those kill streak rewards just power weapons, it doesn't give the same kind of like satisfaction of getting into a chopper gunner. So it copied Call of Duty, but in a very half-hearted way. It was a very, very surface-level imitation of Call of Duty. And yeah, that's not going to attract Call of Duty fans. Because Call of Duty was doing the Call of Duty thing and more in-depth than Halo 4 was. Carrie's performance as both Robotniks was masterful. Besides deliberately pointing it out in their first scene, I could hardly tell they shared an actor. Yeah, there were a lot of moments in that movie where I had to like remind myself that it was not 2 different actors. Like it was Jim Carrey. God, that guy is just so damn good. And he's so good with voices too. His Gerald Robotnik voice, you can't tell it's Jim Carrey because that dude has masterful control over his vocal cords. He just sounded like a completely different human being. Oh my god! And then when the reveal of him, the fact that like his introductory reveal scene, you just see the gigantic stomach sticking out from the lab coat. God. I really hope that he's going to be in Sonic Movie 4. If you've seen... So, you know how Sonic Movie 3 ends. We won't talk about that. Don't worry. No spoilers. What we will talk about is a canceled concept for the way that it would have ended, because that didn't end up happening. The concept art, Andrew, was of Sonic returning to the modern day, and everything is Dr. Eggman themed, and Jim Carrey is in like this insane royal like robe with a giant throne to himself and like a metal Sonic standing as his like royal guard. The idea being that Eggman somehow was able to go into the past and take over the world from the past and change the future. And with Metal Sonic standing there, it was like, gotcha. So they might do the next game, or the next movie, as an adaptation of Sonic CD. That might be what's happening next. Yeah, Halo 4's creative class felt like a half measure. Yep. Yeah, if you're gonna copy Call of Duty, you gotta go all the way. You can't do a half measure. You can't do a X Defiant, you know, a Tom Clancy's XD. Jim Carrey could play Master Chief. He's that good. Yeah. Yeah, Jim Carrey could. Because you know, if you told Jim Carrey to do a super gruff voice, he would eat that up. Like, he'd make himself so buff for the role, and he'd be practicing in the mirror his ridiculous gruff voice. Now, it would have to be, like, a comedy take on Master Chief, but that can work. What is this, Oddball? It is Oddball. Oh, boy. Okay, usually I'm the master of Oddball. I'm very good at Keep Away in Halo. The fact Rouge wasn't in the heist part of Sonic 3 felt weird to me. There wasn't room for Rouge. Like, remember that these Sonic movies, they are for general audiences. And you don't want people to get overloaded with too many things. Like, this Sonic movie was also already introducing a lot. It was introducing Gun. It was introducing Shadow the Hedgehog. It was introducing the Eclipse Cannon. Like, all these different things, as well as Gerald Robotnik. Like, there was a lot already. And I feel like doing another Sonic character on top of Shadow and having to explain her backstory as well as Shadow, it would have just been too many characters. So cutting Rouge is something I completely understand. Okay, after looking into the recast Eggman trend on Twitter, Mike Pollock might not be a good guy after all. Yeah, no, Mike Pollock, I don't think he'd make a very good live-action Eggman, and not just because, like, that guy doesn't seem like a very pleasant guy in real life, just also because I think this is more from a performance standpoint. I don't think Mike Pollock has been very good as Dr. Eggman for a very long time now. I think the last time that he was good in a Sonic game was Sonic Lost World. No, that's not true. He was good in Sonic Boom. But, like, Sonic Forces, something was wrong. He wasn't doing a very good job in Sonic Forces. And Sonic Frontiers, unfortunately, I think Mike Pollock, he phones it in to an extent. It's really hard to explain. You have to be very familiar with the way that he does his Eggman voice to notice it, but he's slurring a lot more and kind of like mumbling and not really, you know, like, Eggman Land will finally come to be. Like, he's not really doing that anymore. He's very just, he sounds bored. I don't know. He's phoning it in. That's the best way I could describe it. I don't know if he's getting older as an actor or if Sega is telling him to tone it down a little bit and he doesn't quite know how to, but something's off with his voice the last couple of years. That would be cool. One idea someone mentioned is that besides Metal Sonic, an awesome candidate for the Egg Army Royal Guard robots of the E-Series. Dude, I'd freaking love to see Gamma. I'd love to see Gamma in live action. I love Gamma so much. I feel like it would be cool to hear, like, somebody else do the voice of Dr. Eggman for a little while. I don't know. And not like the Sonic Prime thing, because the Sonic Prime Eggman was just trying to do a Mike Pollock impression, and I thought it was kind of boring. Like, I want a new take on Eggman. I saw this one, like, proposed idea from way back when I was in high school when it happened. And it was give Eggman, like, a German accent. And they had, like, you know, the little icon and stuff, and it was just like a kind of cartoonishly German accent. I forgot who they pulled the clip from. It was like some cartoon where there was like some German scientists babbling on, and it kind of worked. It kind of worked. Weapon sounds in Halo 4 were so bad. Here's an interesting story about Halo 4's audio design, if you guys are up to listening. In 2018, I went to 343 Industries, and we were actually allowed to tour the studio and see what the developers had been working on. We weren't necessarily being shown, like, you know, early Halo Infinite stuff, but seeing, you know, what they were up to, advancements that they were making. Here's something interesting, like as an example. The audio team, they were trying to find a way to make Master Chief's voice sound more realistic, but not sound like, you know, I'm Sierra Wobble, because he's wearing a helmet. So they were doing this complicated thing. They were using a recording of Agent Locke saying something like, "Fire Team Osiris, the light is green." And what they were doing was they had the crisp audio of it, and then they go into the recording booth with it, and they have like the microphone, and then they put the speaker inside of a replica of like a Spartan helmet, and then they play it out loud in that room. So it sounds like, because it's all muffled, because it's coming from underneath like a helmet. But then what they would do is they'd go into the audio room and they'd combine the two audio. The muffled sound would be kind of like layered underneath the clean, crisp audio. That way, whenever a Spartan would talk in a Halo game, it would come off as clear, understandable, but there would be a hint of artificiality or like muffledness to it. That way, when Master Chief is like standing next to a human character and they're like, blah, 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 I'm a person without a helmet, and he starts talking, there is this subtle unconscious difference in how their voices sound. So that's a fun example. So I got a chance to actually talk to 343 Industries audio team about Halo 4 after the fact, because they were very keen on, they were like super, super open to hearing like some of our thoughts about like the audio design in the Halo games. And something interesting was, so he just went by the nickname Tojim. I think his name is Satoru Tojima, I think. I'm not sure on the pronunciation because it's been a while, but he comes from like Hideo Kojima and stuff. Like, he worked on Metal Gear before Halo, and he was the lead audio designer on Halo 4, and he wanted to go all in on like this very realistic, very crunchy, very industrial soundscape. He wanted all the weapons to feel like complicated pieces of machinery. And what happened was, because of his lack of familiarity with first-person perspectives, as well as how the Halo engine handles audio, he ran into a lot of problems that he didn't anticipate. And so, unfortunately, the final product of Halo 4, he's not happy with the way that it sounds, because it's not what he wanted the game to sound like. It's just, you can design a game kind of or design a sound in a vacuum, but then once you actually put the stuff into the game engine does some funny things to it, and it ends up sounding not quite what you were expecting. So he wasn't too happy with the audio design of Halo 4, how it came out. And with Halo 5, he tried to course correct, and what he ran into was actually a different problem, which was things were too complicated now, because they had all this like expanded room in the audio engine to do a bunch of different things, and he wanted to take advantage of that by like separating the different pieces of audio so that you could really, really hear that it wasn't just like a compressed audio file playing, that you could hear all the different mechanisms of the weapon this time. But now you can hear all of those different sounds, and there's a lot that the player has to pay attention to. So it was like two different versions of the same problem, which is it's too noisy. And so with Halo Infinite, he took a lot of time to kind of make sure that that sounds matter when you hear them. That they're kind of like the key sounds, like the battle rifle firing and stuff, like the mechanics of the weapon, the reverb of the weapon, the way it's reacting in the environment, like all of that stuff is supporting the most important aspect, which is the gunshot. That would be cool. Oh, I already read that. Hell yeah, Gamma's Save My Friends subplot could definitely be weaved into a future Sonic film, though I'd have him liberate more of the E-series. I'm trying to think of how they would do that, because Gamma's story is very complicated, and you could run into the Rouge problem of it being a little bit too much. Like, if they were to do a Sonic Adventure adaptation, like, you're already dealing with like chaos, and chaos is a little bit complicated as a topic. Then you've got to introduce Big the Cat. Or I guess you got to pick and choose who you want to introduce. And to be honest, I think that they would probably go for Big the Cat over E102 Gamma, because Big the Cat is more comedic as a character. They could get a lot of mileage out of him, as well as a lot of merchandise, where E102 Gamma is definitely cool, but he's only cool to like one demographic, I think, which would be little boys, because he's like a robot. You know, Big the Cat is fun for the whole family, whereas Gamma is just fun for the little 10-year-old boys. I think Omega would work more. Omega could work, because Omega is a very simple, straightforward character. Like, there's nothing complicated about him. I could see them skipping Gamma and going right to Omega, honestly. And that would probably... I'm not sure if you do that in the main... There's talk of them doing a Shadow and Knuckles series. And I could see Gamma being introduced in something, or not Gamma, Omega being introduced in something like that. Compared to how sweaty Infinite is, Halo 4 looks fairly relaxed in comparison. Halo 4 is definitely a lot easier to play than Halo Infinite. Big the Cat is very marketable. He is marketable. Big the Cat was awesome. Like, I'm sorry. I'm the guy who never had a problem with the Big the Cat. I liked the fishing stuff in Sonic Adventure 1. I thought it was a fun little break. I like Big the Cat. I like Froggy. Shadow and Knuckles? Why not Team Dark? Well, because they got to introduce Rouge and Omega. And also, I think some of it might be about marketability, because Shadow is a super popular character, but I would argue Rouge the Bat and Omega are not. Like, they are attached to Shadow. They're not carrying anything on their own. So if you wanted to make the most amount of money, you combine Shadow with Knuckles, who is a pretty high-profile character. Like, that's probably the business side of things. Obviously, if I was creatively in charge, you would do Team Dark. But that's probably the business side of things, is you're just thinking about what would draw the most eyes and combine two popular characters into one series. Isn't Rouge problematic? No, Rouge is fine. It's just Rouge is... Who cares, you know? That's kind of the problem. And I like Rouge. But the problem is that, you know, if you're trying to make this super successful thing, Rouge the Bat is not necessarily the huge, big breakout star in the same way that, like, Shadow the Hedgehog was, or Knuckles the Echidna, or even Tails, you know? In my opinion, Gamma's subplot is... Gamma's subplot is pretty disconnected from SA1's plot besides Froggy, so I feel like it could be slotted into a film show with minimal impact. Yeah. I think Gamma, if they were to do Gamma, Gamma would be in one of those, like, Paramount Plus shows. But also, a concern that I would have is that Gamma would be, like, you know, a fully CG character. It would be a little bit... I don't want them to basically run into the same issues that the Knuckles show had, where because Knuckles is a fully CG character, obviously he was not going to have a majority of the screen time in a show. I mean, maybe Gamma would be easier to do than the other Sonic characters, because he's he is a simple character in that it's just a metal box with legs, basically. Fur is a lot harder to do than metal these days. And then on top of that, because he's, you know, so simplistic, making 3D props of him would also probably be very easy for some shots. Like, okay, you know, the longer I think about it, you probably could do Gamut in live action with relative ease, just because of how simplistic that character design is. Let's be real, man. Rouge would be really weird for a family-friendly type thing. A sexy anthropomorphic bat would be pretty off-putting. Sonic has been pretty good at getting away from that type of Rouge. I think the only people who hyper-fixate on that are, like, the weirdos in the Sonic community, where it's like, guys, that's a cartoon. Like, think of how Rouge was in, like, Sonic Prime. You know? Rouge was fine in Sonic Prime, or Rouge in Shadow Generations, where they made enough tweaks to the costume where Rouge is now kind of like, that's probably where she should have started. Omega's origin and characterization are pretty rooted in the failure of the E-series, so throwing him in without that prior context would be a bit weird. I agree there, but I'd also say that, like, there are a lot of things that the Sonic movie series will kind of just leapfrog over for the sake of condensing things and making them easier to digest for the general audiences. To be fair, Gamma and Omega, you could put them in a suit like how the Fallow Show power armor was a physical thing and not CG. Oh, the Fallout Show. Well, here's the thing about the Fallout Show power armor. You'd be surprised how much of it was actually CGI. Like, they did have a physical suit, but then in post-production, they'd swap it out with CGI. Because CGI, like, you use the physical prop for lighting reference and for just, you know, placing something physically in the environment. Like, it just helps with everybody. And then for the sake of polish and making it look good and not clunky, or look clunky in the way that they intend it to look, you swap it out with a CGI double. There are a lot of shots, even some stuff where it's just standing there, where you can tell it's a CGI double. So either way, it would be CGI. My real question is, will we ever get Blaze and Silver? I love Blaze, I love Silver, but no. Silver has a higher chance of getting done than Blaze, and Silver, I don't think, has a very high chance of being done. This map again. Yeah, this isn't one of my favorites, but it's an alright map in Halo 4.
New hill available.
What's this guy up to? Oh my god, he woke up. Okay. How's it going, LNG? It's going pretty well. I think after this match, we're going to swap on over to a different playlist. Not gonna lie, I think it would be cool to see Infinite in a Sonic movie. He was done dirty in Forces. Infinite is so painful because everything about Infinite was set up to work. It was a great design, a great concept, awesome voice, awesome theme song, and it shouldn't have been in Forces, man. It's kind of like Mephiles. You know? Though, unlike Infinite, Mephiles was a great execution in a bad game, whereas Infinite was a great concept that was badly executed. Didn't Jeff Fowler say they have big plans for Silver, though, fairly recently? Well, if he did, I'm going to eat my words, okay? Because that's awesome if he did. Punished for your kindness. Yeah, I was punished. That guy turned right around and shot me in the back of the head. Trying to think of what we could play next. Understandable. I imagine Gamma would work in a Knuckles season. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like a Knuckles Season 2 or something. If Knuckles Season 2 is not going to be a Shadow season. I imagine Gamma could work in a Knuckles Season 2 where he and his friends are tasked to retrieve the Master Emerald for someone. You know what I could see them doing? If they were to take... I'm not sure how they would do it, but I bet you they could take Gamma, Shadow, and Omega and do Gamma's story using Shadow in a way that leads into Omega. They could do something like that. I'm not sure how they would like combine all of those different elements together. Those are my thoughts. Play Halo 3 Auto Slayer. That, you know what? That sounds like fun. Though Halo 3 is not exactly what I would call dead, you know? Would Halo 2 BTB? Yeah, we could try Halo 2 BTB. That's a good idea. God, Halo 2 Big Team Battle is a lot of fun. Halo 2 has some great maps in Big Team Battle. LNG, thoughts on poop from a butt? Remember when you said that? Man, I wish that I had something that I could have put on a t-shirt like Luke's iconic. Because my thing was when I just spur of the moment described something that I didn't like as being a poop from a butt. Because I can't put that on a shirt. Boot up some Halo 5 Super Fiesta on Warzone. Well, the problem is I don't have... I'm playing from a PC. Which is, you know, one more reason to get Halo 5 on PC. That way the whole series can be playable from the same machine. Damn it. I would lose it if Vector and Team Chaotix ever showed up in a movie. I could see them. I think Vector would work extremely well in live action. Like, Vector is a very silly character, and the whole detective agency run by a giant crocodile with headphones and a little ninja chameleon and then Charmy Bee, like, that's something that could work in live action and be very funny. I was thinking we could possibly do Halo 5, but it would involve me streaming it via xCloud. And I've never streamed a game via xCloud and then streamed that gameplay to YouTube. I shudder to think what would happen to the playability of the game if I did that. It would probably be an unplayable mess. Holy moly, Halo 5 is going to turn 10 years old this year. Right? I've been thinking about that a lot. In one of his thoughts, he gets Johnny 5'd and either teams up secretly with allies, secretly allies with the heroes, talking out his active friends before returning to base. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well. Yeah. What did you think of the music this time around, Andrew? The Sonic Movie 3 soundtrack made very, very clever use of Live and Learn. And not just the moment when they played it and everyone cheers, like all throughout the soundtrack. Here, let's get Halo 4 Big Team Battle going. Alright, so here are the playlists that we're going to be searching, friends. I would have to re-download Halo 5, and I don't want to re-download 100 gigabytes. Gosh, Halo 5 was the first modern game where I noticed how big game file sizes were getting. I remember playing the Halo 5 beta. God damn, we're getting old. The Halo 5 beta was such a cool time, dude. I miss the Halo 5 beta. I hope it leaks online someday, like that build of Halo 5. Because it's so hard to explain to folk who are only familiar. Everything about it felt so different from the Halo 5 that released. And I mean different in like a good way. Like it was, I think, the most physical a Halo game has ever felt. In that, like, the way that it did screen shake, the sprint animations, the way that, like, your character would cast a shadow onto the weapon, you know, if you were facing away from a light source, like, it felt, and just also, like, the contrast settings, where the whites were super white, and there was a lot of bloom and kind of, like, lens flare and stuff. It felt like the most futuristic-y sci-fi that Halo has ever been. It was just like a very cool vibe. I'd imagine if Halo Infinite was decently successful and MCC still got updates, the chances of Halo 5 being ported to PC for its 10-year anniversary would seem more likely. To be honest, I don't think so. I think, in fact, actually, that would have further killed the chances. Because Halo 5 being ported to PC isn't out of, like, some kind of, the relevance of the Halo franchise. I mean, some of it is, but it's also just about, like, is the work worth it? In the same way that, like, Black Ops 4 isn't on Steam. You know, and it probably won't ever come to Steam, because it's like, what's the point of bringing it to, from the developer and publisher's perspective? Like, that game's already run its course. It's not exactly, like, relevant anymore. Which sucks, because I do think Black Ops 4 needs a Steam release, even if it's not my favorite game. And Halo 5, that would require building a PC port. And I don't think they're interested in doing that. Like, they have a PC version of the game internally, but it's probably not a modern... It's probably not worthy of, like, a PC release right now. There's probably still a lot of work that needed to be done. It was probably very bare bones. And I don't think that they're willing to commit the resources to developing a proper PC version of Halo 5, which wouldn't have an insanely high player population if it were to release on PC because of the age of the game and the relevance of the game, you know? Which sucks. I think what Xbox is probably banking on, and I hate this so much, is they're probably just thinking if PC players want to play it, they can stream the game via xCloud. And I hate that, because that's not it. That's not it, Chief. Turning Live and Learn into a leitmotif was a very smart move, especially with reinforcing the song's very message, more about how SA2 used it, in my opinion. Yeah. It was very clever. There were a lot of people saying that they should have used I Am All of Me and stuff, which that would have been cool. But I think Live and Learn, like, God, it's insane how many elements of that movie came together perfectly. Like learning to move on from grief, not living in anger, living in the past. Like, well, oh God, what was that quote? the star has faded, but the light still shines. Something like that. Like, mwah, cinema, Kino. Sonic Movie 3 is so good. So there was a guy on Twitter hating the Halo 4 art style and praising Halo 3's weapon models. The person used Halo 2 anniversary models. Not, I saw that, and I clowned on that guy a little bit. That was a very stupid tweet. He was like, Halo 3 had such better models, man. I can't believe how they butchered the battle rifle. And he just posted the Halo 2 anniversary battle rifle. I don't even think it was the one from Halo 2 anniversary either. I think it was the version that was available in Halo 5's multiplayer. Just whatever. Like, this guy didn't know what he was talking about, and it was a very dumb, like, it was a stupid tweet. And he apparently deleted it, which is good. Do you think Halo will be using AI since Xbox's new thing is using AI? I do think whatever future Halo products happen, there will be AI involved. Hopefully, though, it's clever in that the AI is used to assist developers, not replace them. Because Black Ops 6 is a game that is very lazy with its AI use. Like, very uncreative, uninteresting, boring. Like, it's just using AI to replace what could be genuine art. Save Shadow's songs for his own moments in series. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. LNG, are you into any Halo speedrunners? There was this guy that I used to really like watching. His name is Naked Eli. I don't know what happened to him, though. He stopped doing Halo speedrun stuff and competitive stuff. Apparently, his gamer tag got nuked by Xbox because of the word naked in it. And despite him being recognized by Xbox and 343, they knew who he was. They wouldn't, like, backtrack on the ban. And it's just, there was a whole controversy, and then Naked Eli just kind of fell away. And I hope the guy's doing okay. I'm not finding any Halo 2 Big Team Battle maps, which sucks. So what we may have to do is we may have to include Reach Big Team Battle. "1v1 me late night if you're a true Halo fan." Gleb, what we will do is one of these streams, we will have a Thunderdome where I will be 1v1ing random people for the whole stream. Anybody who dares to challenge me, we will 1v1, and the challenger will be allowed to set up the rules of the custom game, okay? Tonight, I'm a little bit tired, but don't worry, your day in the arena is nigh. We will meet on the fields of battle, and something stupid will probably happen. Man, Halo MCC is the worst matchmaking on PC. I don't think it's the matchmaking. I just think it's the population, you know? Like, on the 24th of February, 2025, I'm not going to be expecting full back-to-back lobbies of Big Team Battle Halo 2, you know? I challenge you to not challenge me. Challenge accepted. I hope future Halo games use AI like the series always has. As funny, semi-irritating, holographic, robotic NPCs who help and hinder you. That's a joke I should have made. I should have said, what do you mean Halo with AI? Halo's always had AI, and I hope it continues to. That's a joke I should have made. Do you know what happened in the development of Halo 5 for it to completely trample over everything Halo 4 set up? I just think it was... It was a couple of things. Narratively, you'd be surprised as to how... I won't say smooth, but there wasn't like a troubled behind the scenes last minute rewrite or anything. Like Halo 5 was more or less where they wanted to go from the beginning. And the Halo 5 campaign is more or less like sort of what they were trying to do. Like there wasn't any kind of like cataclysmic behind the scenes drama or anything. The issue came down to the fact that that Halo engine was being rebuilt for Xbox One. So it was going to be severely limited in... There's a guy chatting. It was going to be severely limited in what it was capable of doing. Here, let me turn the frame rate to 60. So it's like already, while they were in pre-production, they were coming up with all these awesome concepts. Like we're going to have an infinity hub world where you'd be able to load into multiplayer or campaign. You'd be able to travel to these different planets. You'd be able to talk to NPCs. These are things they wanted to do for Halo 5. In fact, there was a whole cut world from the game. And I say cut as in it never even entered production. It was just, you know, from the outset, like, they kind of all agreed, like, actually, this is too... So the way that... Let me start over, okay? In game development, usually what happens is with pre-production, you're coming up with the concepts of the game. And now... Some of the people who pretended to be offended at that one producer at 343 that said that he personally wasn't a gun guy, this is what a producer does, okay? They do pre-production, they come up with all of these plans, all these ideas and stuff. I'm not even sure if it's pre-production. I think it's even before pre-production. They then bring in the producers and they say, here's our vision for the game. And the producer's job is to manage the budget and basically tell them what is realistic and what is not realistic, given the time frame that they have to develop the game in. And what happened with Halo 5 was, you know, they come up with this crazy ambitious idea of, like, we got St. Helios, we got Meridian, we've got Genesis, and then we've got this other world. It was like a human city that was under siege or something. I forgot the details of it, but that was ultimately, like, you know, producers come in, they take a look at this, they're like, a hub world, no, you do not have the resources for this, these, like, open world environments, these NPC like, no, like, this is way too ambitious. No way you guys are going to be able to get this thing done in 3 years. So they agree on a budget, agree on a scope for the game, scale things down, make cuts where they need, then the vision of the game is in place. They get to work developing the game. And the problem is just, you know, the game didn't really come together in the way that it probably should have. The narrative team, one of their goals for Halo 5 was they wanted to return to the way that Halo kind of used to do its stories, or the more successful stories in the Halo series under Bungie, which is cutscenes were usually used to set up the context for a level and then bookend the level. And you can see that in Halo 5. It very much followed that formula. Like, the start of the level would be establishing why your characters are going to a place. And then the end of the level would be some kind of, like, resolution or payoff to the narrative elements of that level. And it was a very ambitious plot with a lot going on that involved a lot of characters, but it deliberately toned down character writing and world building stuff so that it could just set up the levels, you know? So it just kind of like the two styles didn't gel well together, and as a result the plot came off as very unfocused, very rushed, very kind of like nonsensical. And so those are some of the things about Halo 5 that just didn't work, you know. And then for the unfinished nature of the game, well, it didn't come together because, unfortunately, like, the engine, the way that they had overhauled the engine, as well as redeveloping entire aspects of the engine to get it, like, this was going to be the first Halo game designed for 60 FPS, you know? So they had to do a lot of tinkering under the hood. And it just all led to them, unfortunately, not really developing the best Halo campaign and having to launch the game in a very, very feature-incomplete state just to make launch. So it was fucked from the beginning. Sort of. Basically, yeah, it's kind of like a Halo Infinite situation. Almost exactly the same mistakes. Where, you know, you spend your whole pre-production coming up with these ambitious ideas, and then the producers take a look, and they're like, no way you're getting this done in 2 years, man. Let alone 3. Start cutting things. Oof. This match is rough, dude. I just, like, I can't keep up. Back to Gamma, he returns to home base, leading the protagonists there deliberately or otherwise, and begins saving his friends currently in cold store. Yeah. Yeah, because you wouldn't have him, like, running all over the place, would you? You'd probably want to keep them all together, right? Yeah, so they would all be in a base. I'm almost picturing, like, the Sonic Heroes cutscene where Gamma is, or where Omega is found. Like, that's where they would all be, right? Doesn't Halo Reach have the worst multiplayer in the franchise, worse than Halo 4? No. No. I don't think so. I think Halo Reach's multiplayer is pretty good. Unfortunately, it's hard to appreciate on the Master Chief Collection because it's doing title update, which kind of borks the balancing. But the NPC interactions surely got retooled into the Meridian talking levels. That's exactly what happened. That's why Halo 5 has those weird guns down missions. Those are more or less holdovers from, like, if I remember right, the original idea for Halo 5's campaign, like, when it was being pitched, before, you know, things were cut down to a more realistic level, was, it would be sort of like think ODST, but on a much larger scale. So the idea is Agent Locke is the ultimate detective. Master Chief has gone rogue. He's gone missing. And it's your job to investigate why. So you're jumping to these different planets and you're talking to the locals of these planets, helping them out with their problems, going on adventures, you know, and stuff. And each of these planets are dealing with, like, a different problem. So it's like, you know, St. Helios is dealing with the Civil War. Meridian's dealing with this, like, Forerunner outbreak. I'm not sure what the city was dealing with. But, you know, Genesis probably... I'm not sure what the deal was with Genesis either. I'd assume Genesis was more, like, endgame type stuff. But you'd talk to these NPCs... help them with their problems, they'd point you in the right direction. And if you remember, in the Halo 5 E3, thing, they did a kind of like, they found, like, Master Chief's assault rifle laying on the ground. And granted, this was all ready by the time, you know, the game was going to release in a year, so all of this was cut anyways. But it was kind of like that. You'd find remnants or evidence of Chief's activity on the planet, and Locke would kind of deduce what happened. And then it would throw you into a flashback mission of Locke's interpretation of what Chief did. And that would be a traditional linear-style Halo level. So Locke is kind of the overworld, investigating, doing side questy stuff, and then Chief would provide the more traditional Halo experience. And that was the original hope for how Halo 5 was gonna be, but that was way too ambitious. Way, 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 way too ambitious. That was you driving the Falcon? Well, we got what we deserved, I think. That actually sounds kind of good. It does sound good. It sounds freaking great, dude. But it just... Like, okay, so open world games usually take upwards of 4 or 5 years to make. And they thought that they could do it in 2 to 3 years on a game engine that was being developed for 60 FPS on the Xbox One, as well as not even being a game engine that was built for open worldy stuff. Like, remember ODST, the way that that game was designed? The reason it took place in a city was obviously for narrative reasons, but there was a technology reason for that, which is you could hide things behind doors. Like, the reason you constantly have to go through doors in ODST is because, you know, the engine, like, that was kind of stretching the limit of how big of an environment the Halo engine could do before you had to hide things behind a loading screen or a giant wall so that you didn't see geometry popping in and out. Like, just the Halo engine wasn't built for it. And then Halo Infinite, though, that was finally they were able to get sort of, you know, depending on what your definition of succeed is, they were able to get the Halo engine to a point where it could finally handle open world environments. This scene would be the mythology gag scene, where you get brief glimpses of the E-series that debuted in niche media, Kappa, Sigma, Phi, etc. Gotcha. Oh, like the history of the E-series, and you could have all your Easter eggs and stuff hidden. Okay. Yeah, that... They could consolidate it and compress it all down into something like that, and I think it would work really well for the Sonic series. Instead, Halo 5 was turned into an MCU movie. Well, the thing is, the MCU aspect of Halo 5 was actually there from the beginning. One of the biggest inspirations of Halo 5, actually, believe it or not, was Iron Man's test flight scene, where he gets suited up. You know, he steps into the thing, gets suited up, and you can see, like, the armor has all of these different things that it can do. You can see it, like, you know, flexing the afterburners and stuff, and then him doing the test flight. That actually inspired Halo 5 from the beginning, because what they were thinking was they wanted it to feel like Halo 5 was a game about the Mjolnir armor, the power fantasy of wearing Mjolnir armor. And they were very, very inspired by Iron Man's test flight sequence. What would a Japanese or Middle Eastern or Indian style Halo game be like? Dude, a Middle Eastern or Indian style Halo game would be... It would slap so hard if they did something like that. Because Halo only, like, a little bit touches on some Middle Eastern influences. I think, like, the story of the Arbiter, we all know about, like, the Dervish and the connections Arbiter has to the Dervish. But Halo Reach, its choir, specifically drew inspiration not from, like, Western-style choirs, you know, like monk chants. It actually drew inspiration from, like, the kind of hymns that you'd hear in mosques. That's why, like, Halo Reach's choir stuff has, like, it's... Even though it is still a choir, it's not the same kind of choir. It's very different sounding. I think that Halo would go really hard if it drew inspirations from different cultures and their religions.
1 minute remaining.
Having terminated all the inactive E-Series bots, Gamma approaches the final one only to be intercepted by Beta. You all know how it ends from there. Not bad. Now, the question would be, would Shadow... Because it's the Sonic movie. Like, you know, it is still for, like, kids ultimately, and they probably would try to soften things up a little bit. Would Shadow, in this hypothetical series, save Gamma by preserving his core and putting it into Omega's body? And they're sort of combining the characters into one. Look how mad the people in the chat are. Here, what's my chat? No, they're all gone. Okay, I was gonna say, why can't we all just be friends? Halo 4, in my opinion, had potential. It would have done better if it was not a direct sequel to the greatest game ever made. Yeah, Halo 4, there's a lot... People don't know because, you know, enough time has passed. Some people weren't even familiar with the hype of Halo 4 just because, you know, new people are born every day and get into Halo every day. And that's okay. But Halo 4 had a lot riding on it because there had never been Halo 4 before. The last Halo game with a number was Halo 3. So this was the next one. You know, there was a lot of hype and expectations behind Halo 4. So it definitely, it fought an uphill battle. I know people might hate this. No. Say it, Isaiah. Say it with confidence, buddy. You could make a Covenant theme, but if Halo wanted to do an extraction game, you could make a Covenant-themed one where you play as an elite miner getting new gear before the UNSC uses a Havoc nuke. Perfect. Perfect. Or even Covenant glassing beams. Like, that could be the circle, the Covenant glassing beams. Ooh, okay. I'll hop in. Gosh, the Warthog feels so good in Halo Reach. Still feels good.
Tied the leader. Lost the lead.
Where are we going? I hear some chaos happening down here. Yeah, everything's fine by the looks of it. How about a Halo-themed turn-based RPG like Final Fantasy? I don't even know how you could do that. I guess, like, would they take turns shooting at each other? Would it be kind of... because XCOM can do it. Yeah, I'm not sure how you would do, like, having, like, a party and you get into battles in the overworld. Like that kind of game for Halo. I'm not sure if Halo is compatible with that kind of game. I mean, you know, crazier things have happened, but that's just how I'm feeling. One of the coolest things about the Halo universe is they focus on other continents and places instead of just America and Europe like most sci-fi series is. I love New Mombasa. Yeah, it's pretty damn cool that Halo has kind of gone out of its way to not do like the generic stuff. I think probably the closest it's gotten to like could have done something more creative was Halo Infinite's multiplayer thing where they had futuristic London being invaded by the Covenant or Banished or something. It's not very clear. Because, like, that's a little, like... You didn't do anything wrong, but I guess... Halo's pretty good about, like, subverting things like that, like taking us to unique places that nobody would have considered. They probably chose London because the actor that they cast was British. Or, you know, maybe it was the other way around. They casted a British actor because that's where they set the cutscene in. But also because I think they saw Big Ben and they wanted people to figure out where it took place just by seeing that clock. Yes! Took out their tank. Okay. I envision Shadow and Knuckles, whoever, are busy elsewhere in the base retrieving the Master Emerald, other MacGuffin. However, you've given me a cool idea. Okay, so that... See, what I'm thinking is... something about, like, shadow, loss, sadness, overcoming grief, what Gamma went through. And I'm wondering if you could connect Shadow and everything he went through to Gamma in some way. I'm not sure how you would connect the strings together, but there are threads there that I think are worth exploring, and you could probably connect them narratively into a series where it's Shadow and Gamma working together that ends with the introduction of Omega. Who says that the concussion rifle sucks in Halo? There's people that say the concussion rifle sucks in Halo, and those people are wrong. The concussion rifle mechanically does not suck. Creatively, it sucks. Because the brute shot is just cooler. Like, the brute shot has an aura that the concussion rifle, bless it, but it could never replace. Damn it! Okay, I almost got him. Is Oni the Hydra of the Halo universe? No, they're not, like... They're not Nazis. They're just kind of like the boogeymen. They're like the Men in Black. They're like because Hydra is straight up like an evolution of, you know, it's like, what if Nazis... Well, I was about to say what if Nazis were in the White House, but I'm not going to make that joke. It's basically, you know, what if Adolf Hitler took over America? That's what Hydra sort of is. Where Oni, they're a lot more like, think of like the CIA from the 1960s and stuff. Like, that's more of the vibe that Oni are. Where it's like they're the men in the black suits with the glasses behind the one-way mirror, like smoking the cigarettes and watching an innocent man being questioned because, you know, he discovered the wrong thing and the secret can't get out. Like, that's the kind of vibe that Oni give. Brute shot aura farming. Yeah, the brute shot had aura, dude. I freaking love the brute shot. It's also just like a really odd-looking weapon, which I do miss from Halo. I appreciate to an extent that Halo Infinite tried to make some of the weapons, even if they do have to conform for, like, you know, readability purposes to certain silhouettes. Things like the... oh boy, let's run this way. Things like the skewer. Like, the skewer, the brutes don't hold the skewer over their shoulder like we do as Spartans. Like, in fact, it's even got, like, a buttstock because it's supposed to go onto a brute's shoulder. But we hold it that way because we're a lot smaller than brutes. So I appreciate that aspect of Halo Infinite. There's a couple of weapons like that. Like, even the brutes in... When they hold the Spanker rocket launcher, they don't hold it like the UNSC do. They hold it underarmed because it's small enough that they can just, like, run around with it like it's like a rifle. So that stuff's cool. I do like that stuff a lot. Dual wielding made me feel like a badass. It did. Dual wielding was cool in Halo. Oh boy. Let's hide. Damn it. The Brute Shot is like those knockoff basement-made rifles built in the Middle East because the elites won't give the brutes advanced guns. The concussion rifle is a refined Covenant ministry-made device. Well, the Brute Shot, what's cool about the Brute Shot is just what it tells you about the brutes and how, like, unconventional they are and how they're focused on, like, brutality. Like, they want their devices and their machines to have a lot of purposes. Like, all of the brute tech, at least in Halo 3, which introduced a lot of it, you know, the spiker, the gravity hammer, the Brute Shot, the spike grenades, all of it feels like it could serve multiple purposes. It could be a hunting tool, or it could be a weapon for war. Or it could be a torture device. Like, it just, you know, a lot of different uses. That's okay. I'm happy that I got him. Atriox's gravity mace, though, was so awesome. His gravity mace was very cool. And this is something that, like, talking to the art director of Halo Wars 2, I think it's a pretty cool detail, but if you remember Atriox, he like, you know, prevents his execution by grabbing the energy sword before he's executed with it. And if you look at the cutscene, it goes through, like, people think like an energy sword has two blades, right? So he caught in between it. No, if you watch the cutscene, those two blades go through Atriox's hand. So he shoved his hand through both of the blades of an energy sword to catch the hand of the guy holding the energy sword. So he sliced open his hand, completely destroyed it to catch that red energy sword, and then still killed his would-be executioner, even though he got his hand basically sliced in half. Then, afterwards, what happened was, in the concept art and the notes and stuff, they explain, as well as you can see it in the design of his energy mace, he took it, that thing that, you know, would have been his execution device, and he broke it down and forged it into an energy sword. And that's why his gravity mace is the first ever gravity mace, because he made it from the parts of the energy sword that almost killed him. And that's also why it's red, because that was the color of the energy sword that nearly killed him. And that's why the Banished is red in color, because they took the execution tools, the red energy sword, and they basically made a mockery out of it. Even if you look at the logo of the Banished, it's Atriox's mace from the top down, looking at it from the top down. So even the term banished, you know, that's what the Covenant would call an execution. They'd say, like, you know, you've been banished from the Covenant, and then they'd execute you. So everything about the Banished is a mockery of the Covenant and their beliefs. It's cool, right? Excellent point. You could definitely develop the two into a found family of sorts, with Shadow helping Gamma adjust to his newfound individualism. Yep, that's what I was thinking. And then you cap off the story with him dying, and you could have, like, an end of, kind of like the Sonic movie 3, an end credit teaser with Shadow saving Gamma by uploading him into a new body. Or, you know, whatever, like, something could work. Fist of Rooked or Atriox's weapon? Man, that's hard to say. Like, Fist of Rooked is lame looking, I think. It's very lame looking, and it was for the best that, like, Bungie redesigned it. But there is an undeniable aura to the Fist of Rooked. But Atriox's energy mace is so badass looking, and it has such a cool backstory behind it. Is that why his hand is robotic? Yes. If you've ever wondered why Atriox just has a robot hand, that's why. Because he lost his arm. When he caught that energy sword, he completely destroyed his hand. And he replaced it with robot bits. Because in that cutscene, when he, when he's going to his execution and stuff, he has 2 normal arms. Who is Rooked, and why did they remove his fist? I assume the Fist of Rooked is probably some brute chieftain from way back when. Like, when I look at the Fist of Rooked, what I think they were trying to go for in the design is that the brutes are obviously like a very old society, an old species that is very bound by tradition in a similar way to like other members of the Covenant, but they're more primitive. The Fist of Rooked, it looks kind of like a tribal, like, you can see that it kind of looks like it was made from like wood or something like that, like some kind of wood-like material, like the staff of it. And then it's got a big rock basically on the end. So it's like probably in whatever the brute equivalent for caveman times were, that thing was probably like a tribal like club, like a bludgeon that chieftains would use to like, in tribal wars, like just smacking each other around with sticks. And then as the brutes became more technologically advanced, you can see these like weird gear things on it. And so it looks like brutes, because they respect their traditions and their roots and their beliefs so much, they kept this important historical and cultural chieftains club thing and augmented it with gravity technology. That's what I assume is up with the Fist of Rook's design. When did 2042's loading screen into matches get updated? I think that was like last week, literally. It would be even more heart-wrenching when Gamma dies, Gamma dies not through an accident like movie Maria, but a deliberate sacrifice to save a close friend. There you go, Andrew. We figured it out. That's how we can get Gamma working. Yeah, like first you talk about like the concept of like a tragic loss, and then you show the concept of a tragic sacrifice. I was wondering, I had to check the options for a second because there was a lot of like pop in. And I was like, something's not right. Reach doesn't look quite right. And yep, all the settings were on normal, which are not optimized for anything above 720p. According to Halo Wars 2, Rooked was an ancient brute chieftain that initiated the first immolation that caused the nuclear destruction of Doizak. Okay. Okay. That's interesting. Halo Wars 2 is a cool game, man. If any of you were watching the podcast, Warthog Radio, we talk about it there and how it's kind of... Halo Wars 2 deserved better, man. Yikes. Okay, come on. There we go.
Tied the leader, lost the lead.
Sorry, I briefly became a lore autist. Don't worry. I'm pretty sure we all have autism here, my friend. You are free to info dump on us any of the interesting facts you learn. That was awful. Damn it. My grenade, like, bounced off a corpse, I think, and then careened into a wall. The grenade launcher did not do what I was hoping it would do. Hi, DD. What's going on, buddy? The Shih Tzu is trying to get my attention. Halo Wars 3 is better than Halo Wars 2, though I am from another reality. What's it like over there in Halo Wars Earth, the timeline where we got a Halo Wars 3? To be honest, at this point, chat, Halo Wars Returning will most likely be a mobile game. Yes. Yeah. And Isaiah, I don't think it's a bad idea, by the way. If Halo Wars were to return as a mobile spin-off of Halo Wars to some extent, I think that could work pretty damn well. Is the Shih Tzu still a chronic gooner? He's getting better about it, actually. He is, man, did I even tell the chat what's been going on? He got a little sister, but not the little sister you'd think. Should I tell them? We did? We told them about Momo? We've got a robot dog. I wouldn't have Shadow save him, though. The devious beta would throw in a wrench in the form of a dead bot switch, destroy me, and it all goes boom. Probably something, like, what I'm thinking is, there's got to be a connection between Omega. Oh, you know what? Maybe Gamma doesn't, like, die physically. Maybe he has to do something, like, in order to destroy Beta, he has to wipe their cores, you know? And that's an excuse for it to be kind of like his memory gets wiped and he gets reformatted into, like, a new being. And that's where Omega comes in. That way you can have your cake and eat it, too. You can have Gamma still sacrifice himself, but you could have him not technically die, and you could introduce the new character of Omega, who looks kind of like Gamma, but buffer. Robot dog? Okay, there's some people here who don't know about the robot dog. So, there's this Japanese thing called the Aibo. It started in America. Here, you want to come tell them? It's called the Sony Aibo. It is a robot dog with machine learning capabilities. Lots of cameras built in. And it can map, you know, and learn where it is. And it can eventually start to develop a personality. And it walks around, and it's very cute. And our dog is so obsessed with it. Like, at first, he kept trying to hump it and mount it. And he still gets, like, I can't leave him alone with it for too long. Otherwise, he starts to get, like, interesting ideas. But he is so obsessed with it. And we programmed it to be, like, a lady. And her name is Momo. And she wakes up from her charger in the morning and just starts doing her robot shuffle around. I don't think her favorite song is Happy Birthday anymore. They're programmed to go through, like, phases. Like, they'll act like puppies. They'll be kind of clumsy on their feet, and they get more confident over time. And for a long time, her favorite song was Happy Birthday, and she'd just be, like, staring at a wall or something and happily singing Happy Birthday to herself. But she's starting to act more, like, she's getting a better grasp for the layout of our place. Hump it? Yes, hump it. We've had to pull him off of her because he keeps trying to mount Momo. And it's very funny because the app, we can see, like, things that she thinks were interesting, and she snapped a picture of them throughout the day. And some of the funniest picture, because the thing is, like, our dog is so complicated, dude. Like, when I used to believe before I owned Pumpkin that dogs were very simple. I'm like, no. They have, like, the intelligence of the 3-year-old, you know. They're not that complicated. And it's like, nope, they're very complicated. Pumpkin wants to hump her and also gets very jealous of her and is, like, annoyed by her. So sometimes, like, the looks he gives her, because he is just so grumpy about the fact that there's another dog in the house. And some of the funniest pictures that we've seen looking at her little app and seeing the things that she thinks are interesting throughout her day is you'll just see him way off in the distance sitting on the couch just staring at her and frowning. Like, those are some of the funniest pictures. It's like, look how upset he is. Yeah. Pumpkin's a good boy. He's a good egg. Halo 3 Remastered was the same as Combat Evolved Anniversary. They just used Reach model. Halo 3 Remastered? What? Oh, if Halo 3 Remastered was the same as Combat Evolved Anniversary. Oh, sorry, I remember the joke that we were doing. Gosh. That sounds like that sucks. Nah, it would... No, that doesn't sound like it sucks, because as much as I don't like Combat Evolved Anniversary, it's cool that it exists. Like, it's cool to see Halo Combat Evolved with a different art style. Why'd you get a robot dog? It's a robot dog. It was Rebecca's birthday. Rebecca's birthday. We had a pretty damn hard year last year. And it was a special interest of hers. Rebecca really likes virtual pets like Tamagotchis. And what is a robot dog if not the final conclusion? Like, the end point. Everything the virtual pet had been building to is, like, what if your Tamagotchi had a robot body so that it could walk around in the real world? That's basically what a robot dog is. Like, what if you attached an arms and legs to a Tamagotchi? Which, that would be fucking awesome. As if, like, 20 years from now, we have, like Mamichi, an actual Mamichi, like, running around like a toddler. What's a webfish?
Someone just said, oh no. Don't tell me.
Oh no, yeah,
Tell me about a web.
you're Rebecca, so this is one of the things that I love most about her. Since she also is on the spectrum, like moi, if something interests us, we're going to become experts overnight. Because we're going to be up all night researching it.
Oh, it's a game on Steam. Yeah, I have that.
Oh, it's a game on Steam? Okay. So the reason she said, oh no, don't tell me, is...
I thought you meant it was another robot.
Yeah, Rebecca loves virtual pets, robot pets, like any of that stuff. She likes a little... Yeah, she loves robots and little cute characters that you have to take care of. And she thought you were introducing her to a new robot friend.
And I love fish.
And Rebecca loves fish. So Rebecca was like, oh no, new friend. Or do you think Halo 3 or Halo 2 makes a better competitive game than Halo Infinite? It's because of the way that the sandbox was designed. So, the way that Bungie Halo worked is that the sandbox, the different weapons in the sandbox were built to serve different, they were built to serve different game modes and functions. Like, for example, you know, like the shotgun is for the infection mode primarily. Like, at least after Halo 2, it was kind of like mostly understood that it was going to be really good for infection, so it's kind of built as the ultimate infection thing. The battle rifle, that's the keystone weapon. It's the competitive starter weapon. So obviously you'd want the battle rifle to be great in most situations, because it's, you know, the weapon you spawn with in competitive multiplayer. So you'd hope it would be able to carry most gunfights and kind of drive the combat loop. The assault rifle, or SMG, that's mostly designed for social play. In fact, actually, here, you know what we're going to do? We are going to hop on over this. We're going to hop on over to Halo 2, and we're going to play auto starts. Oop. We're going to play Halo 2 auto starts. Hopefully there's some game modes happening. If there aren't, we might throw Halo 3 in there as well. But with Halo Infinite, there's kind of like this desire to bring everything together and make things cross-pollinate with each other. So the assault rifle, you want it to also be really good. You spawn with the assault rifle, it's really good. If you pick up the sentinel beam, you want it to be pretty good to use. If you pick up, you know, the needler, you want that to also to be pretty good. And you make sure every single weapon is easy to use when you pick it up. And what ends up happening is a majority of the sandbox you can pick up and get killing sprees with, no problem. But in the hands of a pro player, that becomes very dangerous because they're very good at Halo. And because so much of the sandbox is so easy to just pick up and run around and get a bunch of kills with, it makes the modes very chaotic and kind of unfocused. Is Rebecca Latina? She is. Intriguing. I'd go about it as a post-credit scene, Omega's perspective in his containment pod, witnessing an obscure person noting on the E-series. Gotcha. Okay. Because what I was thinking was almost like, you know that that Sonic Heroes like first-person perspective? I'm thinking of Omega, like how he's seeing Shadow and he's kind of like warped and fish-eyed because it's what he's seeing. I'm picturing something like that, but also calling back to like E102. Was it E102 Gamma? Like it's calling back to Gamma as well. Like you start Gamma's story in this proposed series with, you know, the bing, like the eye coming on and you're seeing Gamma's perspective. Then you end the series with a tease that Gamma's not really dead, and it's the picking, you know, the eyes coming online, and Shadow's in front of him, and he's like, it worked. And, you know, he looks down, and you can see Omega's fingers. Oh, God. Okay. He got to the battle rifle first. Specifically, the person is scouring the destroyed base for useful tech before abandoning it. He makes a point that the E-series is not on that list. That's a good way to tease it. Oof, oof, oof. Hang on. The weapons in the Bungie games felt very unique. In Infinite, they all feel the same, almost Call of Duty-like. Some of that is by design. It's a thing that also, it started around the time of Halo 4. And unfortunately, it's one of those things where you've got, like, Xbox that are looking at games like Call of Duty and later on Destiny, and they want the Sandbox team to make Halo's weapons more like that. And if you notice in Halo Infinite, they put a big emphasis on weapon archetypes. So like the Sentinel Beam is called an SMG type weapon. You know, and it's kind of like that. Like basically, if a new weapon is introduced, what is it? Is it an SMG? Is it a shotgun? Is it a rocket launcher? And it kind of, certain aspects of its gameplay must fit into those stereotypes for how that weapon should perform. And I don't know. It's not my thing for designing Halo sandboxes, but it's not like a deal breaker, I guess. But it does make designing competitive Halo harder because now every weapon has to kind of conform to these weapon archetypes, and they all have to be relatively easy to use. Why are you picking up the Halo 2 shotgun late night? You told me it was a poop from a butt. It's because we've been streaming for almost 3 hours and I'm feeling very tired and I'm not thinking. And I'm making a lot of very silly mistakes. Oh, God. Here, let me focus for a second. Nice, I found a carbine. See, this is the fun of auto starts. You start from nothing with the automatic weapon, and then it's like you find something better. And you feel kind of like you're upgrading. It's almost like a like deathmatch battle royale type stuff, you know? And see, now I'm reset back to 0. Gotta scour for something better. I love that kind of stuff. And you don't really get that a lot in modern Halo, because, you know, everything's pretty good from the spawn. Here they come. Damn it. Okay. Horrible idea. An Astrobot or Mario 64 platformer type game starring a grunt or jackal. Yeah, that's... I mean, I'd like it. But I cannot... I do not express confidence in the commercial viability of a game like that. But I would personally be extremely happy. Hey, what if you helped populate El Dorito 0.1? Well, yeah, we could. We could do that, actually. I'm trying to think, what other, like, fan projects are there out there? That's okay, baby. Because there's El Dorito, there's El Dorito, there's Project Cartographer. I don't know. Whatever happened to that Project Contingency thing? Did that ever, like, come out? Did it ever release? Did it ever become a thing? I know Installation 01. Is that what it was called? That's pretty much, I don't think it'll ever release. I think that's fair to say. Trying to think of other fan projects. Ah, damn. Oh, I can't believe it. Weird networking shenanigans happened, and I survived that energy sword. Come to me. He saw me. I wasn't gonna get out of that. He saw me. There we go. Oh my gosh. Oh, he's the sentinel beam. Okay. Is he teabagging him? Don't do that. Don't be mean like that. Like, Halo 2 is rough, man. You don't have to rub it in. There, see, I'm focusing a little bit more, so now I'm playing smarter. Boy. We're on a killing spree, fellas. Okay, somebody's about to come with the energy sword. Someone's going to come looking for revenge. Oh. Hope I didn't just give them... this is it. They're going to get the sword. Yep. Okay. Mistake. I should have gotten out of there. I was too out in the open. LNG is lore accurate, Master Chief. That is very kind of you to say. The East series was too expensive and prone to shifting loyalties. Besides, I've got more promising designs along the way. Not even this experimental unit's rudimentary data copying is worth retaining. Okay. Andrew, I see it. I see it, Andrew. It would work. Which Halo esports did you prefer? MLG Halo or HCS Halo? I don't have enough experience with MLG Halo to know the differences. I just know that wasn't MLG more involved with the gameplay modifications? Andrew, I also appreciate the $10 donation, dude. I know a lot of longtime Halo fans bemoan Infinite, but I find it is more friendly to new players. MCC as a new player is brutal. And Skylian, that is something I respect a lot about Halo Infinite. You know, for everything that I just said about it, Halo Infinite was the game that introduced my wife to Halo and how to play Halo. And thanks to how approachable it is and how accessible it is, she knows how to play Halo. Like, she knows what happens if you pick up the needler and how to use it, you know? She knows what the battle rifle is used for.
Slayer.
Like, I respect Halo Infinite a lot. And I think that that approachability is very important. Because, yes, MCC is brutal for new players. Because these games are like 20 plus years old now. And all the people playing them, like, all the people playing them have, they know these maps more than they know their own family members, you know? Like, that's how long they've been playing them. Here, I'll turn on medals so you can see. Because I know this is before, you know, like HUD feedback for your... There we go. HUD feedback for your achievements were a thing. And for some people, it's easier to follow if they can see, like, double kill, headshot, you know, as pop-up medals. Damn it. A lot of people hate on Infinite because they want to gatekeep their games from general players. Insanely antisocial loser behavior. Gatekeeping is cringe. Gatekeeping is very, very cringe. It's... Your franchise is doomed to irrelevance if it gatekeeps. The thing, though, that I think most long-running franchises struggle with is how do they change things up while kind of like retaining their identity. And depending on who you ask, it's impossible. But, you know, Call of Duty is an example of a franchise making core fundamental changes to its formula in order to keep up and make itself friendly to new players. And it seems to be working out. Even if I'm, like, not a fan of the modern Call of Duty games, there are those who are. And if Halo wants to keep up with other games and be relevant, it does need to be open to meeting new players halfway. And that's something I respect Infinite a lot for doing. Even if I wish that we could return to the old formula. And I think that the old formula would be cool to revisit. Oh boy. Oof, oof, oof. One time when I was playing MCC on Halo 4, I was paired against 3 hero ranked players. Like, how's that fair? That's... Yeah. Don't worry about ranked in MCC. Just have fun. Have fun. It also helps looking up guides on YouTube, like how to play these older games competitively, because sometimes they give you an edge. that you wouldn't know about if you were just trying to learn for yourself by playing. Because these games have old strategies that have been passed down from gamer to gamer. Like, even my skills I had to learn from those who knew Halo 2 like the back of their hand. Naked Eli, we're bringing that guy up again. He was actually the person who turned me into a bumper jumper convert. Because prior to the Master Chief Collection releasing, I just played default controls. And then when Halo... Well, not default control. I played Recon. But then when MCC came out, I wanted to get better. And I watched a Naked Eli video where he recommended switching to bumper jumper. And sure enough, my gameplay improved with bumper jumper, and he did other guides on how to play Halo 2 matchmaking, the other Halos as well, and I got better. Oof, oof, oof. What's going on? Okay. Since from Omega's perspective, you'd see some fun little details, such as the obscured person leaving a template data scan of Gamma's dead chassis, target registration of Eggman's logo, and very angry shake. Yeah. That's good. You know what? Okay, Andrew, yeah, you're on point. I'm with you, okay? Yeah, that would be a fun tease for Omega. God, Omega's a cool character. Yeah, you're right, Andrew. And I appreciate the back-to-back $10 donations, dude. It was very nice of you. Omega's just like a fun character, because he is like, the simplicity of him, I think, is what makes him very fun and what makes him work. Dude just wants to kill Eggman robots. I'm kind of... LNG, do you think that melee could work with dual wielding? I mean, yeah, of course it could. You could just let people melee while they're dual wielding. But it's... You'd have to figure out then a trade-off to make dual wielding less skilled. I don't personally know how you could fix it. You could do the thing where all your actions are a little bit slower, so if you wanted to throw a grenade, it would take longer. If you wanted to melee, that would take longer, like as you're dual wielding. Another idea is you could treat it kind of like a turret, you know, picking up a turret. Like it's just kind of like this temporary, powerful mode until you're out of ammo. But late night gaming, will there be invasion matches? We'll try to get one game of invasion going. I'm not confident, though, that it's going to happen. Because then I'm going to hop off and get in the shower. Being honest, I just play campaign, firefight, forge, and custom games on Halo MCC. That's okay, you know? That's what they're there for. There's no wrong way to play Halo. There's this video that I saw a while ago that was pretty dumb. I remember the argument being, like, are pro players good at Halo? And he was making the argument that, like, because pro players only use a part of the sandbox, they're not as good at playing Halo as social players, because social players use all of the Halo sandbox. Hi, buddy. Hi, Trembles. Hi, Titi. Hi, Trembles with excitement. Hi, Titi. What's going on, baby? Why are you shaking? Oh, is there a flea, babe? Is that why he's itching? What's going on, Yankee? Good. Okay, so it's flea season. Okay. So we should, yeah, the front line, but also on a day where we have time, we should probably give him, like, a close body shave. Oh, buddy, did you have a bad guy? Did you have a bad guy, Titi? Oh, Titi. He's in a very good mood. Yeah, it was this very bad video, getting back to the topic, where he was saying that like social players are better at Halo because they use all of the sandbox, and it's like that's implying that like Halo is only Halo if everything is included in every single match. And that's such a narrow and kind of wrong view of Halo that it's like surprising that so much thought was put into a video that just was incorrect. Like, the beauty of Halo is that it's a sandbox. So you can make a variety of different gameplay experiences within it depending on what sandbox choices you make. Like, shotgun, energy swords. One team has shotgun, the other team has energy swords. Boom, you've got infection. Race, competitive, shoddy snipes. Like, all of those are Halo. You're not only good at Halo if you're good in all of those things. I can't keep up with shoddy snipes to save my life. But on Halo Reach Infection, I'm pretty damn good at it. And I'm still going to say, dude, I love Halo. Like, I love hopping on Halo. Yeah. Hate that shit, man. Like, every single way to play Halo is valid. And if you're good at it, then you're good at playing Halo. It would be an intriguing plot point to play with. Omega's perspective of Gamma's destruction of his friends would be very different than, say, Shadow's. Yeah, like, hello, Mr. Egg. Hi, Kiki. What's going on, Mr. Happy? Oh. Shih Tzus are so funny. Their snouts are very short. Not like a pug, not that short, but still short enough that they look goofy. And because of that, they, like, this is, you know, less funny. They have trouble breathing, but it means that they make some funny sounds sometimes. So he'll just look at me and he'll just be like, because he's so excited. Hi, Titi. What's going on? What's going on, Titi? He's looking at me like a little teddy bear right now. Yeah, Omega's perspective of Gamma's destruction of his friends would be... Yeah! Because Omega is all about just, like, smash Eggman robots. But Gamma, there's, like, a sad tragedy to it, you know? Like, Omega has, like... Well, ironically, you know, because he's named Omega. Or not ironically, it's probably very intentional. Like, Omega views himself as superior, and he hates Eggman robots, and he hates Eggman. Where Gamma, there is, like, a sad tragedy. He views them as, like, his family. LNG, favorite Doritos flavor? Dude, vanilla. Generic Doritos. I like generic Doritos, man. Okay, so I'm still searching for Invasion, and nothing. What made Halo unique from other shooters is how it was a party game first, then a competitive shooter. I don't like that, actually. I don't like that Halo fans are saying that. And I'm going to tell you why. It's because it's going to cause a course correct. It's going to be a monkey paw situation. Like, okay, you want a casual Halo game that's casual friendly, you're going to get another Halo 4. The thing about Halo is from the start, it was a sandbox shooter. It provided a variety of different experiences. You know? That's the thing about Halo. It's not, well, first it started out as this, and then it bubble. Like, no, there was that whole sandbox of weapons to play around with. Picking what weapon you want people to spawn with. I'm trying to remember what the rules were for Combat Evolved custom games. You could choose, like, if it was only pistol spawns, as well as pistols for the weapons on the map. You could vehicles on, off, and stuff like that. You had, you know, 2v2 split screen, 4v4 system link, 8v8 system link. There were so many different ways to play Halo from the outset because it was a sandbox. You make it. You know, you make the modes. You have fun with them. Play what you want to have fun in. So trying to boil Halo down to, it should be a party shooter first, then a competitive shooter second. It's like, no. From launch, it should be everything. That's what Halo should be. It should be everything from day one. That just seems like weird anti-rank stuff. I'm not into rank play MLG stuff, but I know people like it, and I'm not going to trash someone just because they play MLG. Yeah, exactly. Like, if that's their favorite way to play Halo, that's good. And I hope Halo keeps giving them tools to have fun in ranked. Just like how I like Infection, and I wish that Halo gave me more tools to enjoy Infection, like a pump-action shotgun. Or how there's some folk where their favorite is Fiesta, and lately I've really kind of like 180'd my view on like weapon variants from Halo 5, and I wish that, you know, Halo Infinite included more, so that folks who really like Fiesta could have fun. Yeah, it's this thing that's... I'm very, very anxious about the Halo is a party shooter narrative. Because if people aren't careful, 343 is going to make sure that you guys get a casual Halo game next time. And it might not... It's not going to be what you think a casual Halo game is. Because Bungie's Halo games, they were sandbox games. They were everything on day one. Competitive, casual. Ranked, not ranked. I respect all things ranked except for the gentleman's agreement stuff. That stuff is silly. See, I don't think it's silly. Because if the pro players say that a weapon is causing them harm, and it's making the game less fun, I want to listen to them. Now, the issue that I have is how 343 approaches that, where for them, they nerf the hell out of the gun and make it less fun for everybody. When something even the pros want is, like, don't nerf the gun into the ground, just enter Forge mode and remove the gun from the map in ranked. Problem solved. You know? You'd be surprised at how many pro players were actually pretty pissed off when 343 nerfed the Mangler, taking away its one shot than melee for a kill. They were pissed because that's not what they were asking for. What they wanted was just remove it from ranked and keep it in the other modes. Where Shadow saw Gamma defying his origins and family to fight for true friends, Omega might see Gamma taking their revenge. Oh, taking his revenge on those who abandoned him. That is a fun idea. That's a fun idea, actually. Like, to connect the two. That's fun. I don't hate pro players, but Halo Studio seems to confuse listening to pro players versus just making the game feel very antisocial. Halo Studios definitely suffers from that, but also some of it is just modern game design issues, as well as problems with how Halo Infinite was developed to begin with. So I got a chance to talk, like the same person who explained to me kind of like the original ideas for Halo 5. I actually asked him, I was like, what's going on with the UI? It's been like this for a while. It wasn't just Halo Infinite, because Halo 5 didn't have lobbies either. And he explained to me, he was like, if there's one thing 343 has never been good at as a studio, it's been UI stuff. They are unbelievably understaffed, and just not filling those ranks with UI veterans. Like, it's just never been a priority for them when it honestly should have been. And Halo Infinite was the game where Halo 4 was lucky because it was built off of the code that Reach used for its UI. So all the back-end stuff was basically Reach in Halo 4. Halo 5, though, where they rebuilt the whole engine, they couldn't just use that Reach stuff. And that's where you saw problems starting to come in, like just removing lobbies, pre- and post-game lobbies. And then Halo Infinite, they rebuilt things even more, and even more stuff got lost, and it got to the point where they didn't even have a built-in way to report players in the UI. It's just like, a resource thing and a priorities thing. So some of it is definitely like this, here's like another thing. And this, weirdly enough, is not actually for pro players. This is actually for streamers. With Halo Infinite, part of the reason that you hit search and then it finds the game, then the game finishes, then you're back at the main menu, you hit search again and it finds another game. There isn't kind of like that waiting period, and the lobby fills up and stuff like that. It's because they wanted the game to be very fun to watch on Twitch. As in, like, look at this. What have we been doing for the past 5 minutes, guys? We've been staring at this lobby waiting to fill up, right? They didn't want this experience for Halo Infinite. They wanted it to be, you just click a button and then the game finds a match for you. It gets rid of this whole lobby experience and just throws you into a match. Because they wanted, if somebody was streaming the game, at any moment, you click on a stream and somebody's in a match. And I hate that. I hate that logic so much. And that wasn't because of pro players. That was trying to make the game more fun to watch, I guess, on Twitch. Are pro players and streamers the same thing? No. No, they are not. How do I get a job at Halo Studios? Just apply online. Are you a Mass Effect fan? What is your favorite Mass Effect game? I love Mass Effect 1. I think Mass Effect 1 is one of my favorite games. Mass Effect 3 is also alright. I don't like Mass Effect 2 that much. I like the story of Mass Effect 2. I don't like playing through it, though. And, even Mass Effect Andromeda, it's not bad. Why does Halo Studios want to keep dividing the community? I don't think they're trying to divide the community. I think it's the community wants a bunch of different things. And also, sometimes the problem is the community, and this is, talking also about myself, we're often really bad at verbalizing what it is that we want. And sometimes what we think we want is not actually it. Sometimes, the topic of nostalgia, sometimes that genuinely does get in the way of our ability to kind of think critically. Like, I'm guilty of that. As, somebody who's on the spectrum. I don't like change. I want things to stay exactly the same forever and ever. But somebody coming. Damn, where are they? They're below me, aren't they? Okay. Yeah, it's the Halo community wants different things. The Halo community is constantly also aging up. So, and then that nostalgia problem plays in, where we're starting to see it now with people that are genuinely nostalgic for Halo 4 because, and this is fair, okay? I'm not saying this is an insult, it's fair. They were like, young teens when Halo 4 came out. It was their multiplayer shooter. Or they were kids when Halo 4 came out, so they've got that childhood nostalgia for it, and now they are joining the discourse, and they are advocating for Halo 4-esque things. So you've constantly got people jumping into the conversation that have nostalgia for different things, or they view different aspects of Halo as important to the series. You just got a lot of opinions out there, and it's very hard to sift through those opinions to please everybody, and this is usually the part where Halo Studios, 343 Industries, they usually run into problems, real problems, is you gotta combine the demands of the fan base and what they want with the demands of Microsoft and the business guys and what they think is best for the brand. And oftentimes it is not compatible what the business guys want and what the fan base wants. In short, Gamma is literally me to Omega, put on this pedestal where his interpersonal connections with Shadow are dismissed in favor of relatable events, being both left behind in combat recordings. I like it. Dude, I like it, Andrew. That's good stuff. Because then you could also, that would leave the door open for, like, further drama involving the new Omega and Shadow. Because they could still be comrades and fight, but you could have, you know, Shadow kind of knows that that's not quite right, you know, the way that Omega is doing things. Would you make a Battlefield-like games I'm playing in 2025 video? Yeah, that's actually a decent idea. Why not do a Sonic Mania and hire fans? Well, because Sonic Mania, the fans that they hired made an engine that perfectly replicated, if not better, the original physics and gameplay of the original Genesis engine. You know, whatever that engine was that powered the first 3 Sonic games, the 2D ones. Like, they didn't just say, hey, you're a bunch of fans who like Sonic, come make a game for us. These fans proved themselves by building a game engine. And then using that game engine to make a modern-day port of Sonic CD, which was then brought to the phones because it was so impressive. I have not seen a single Halo fan do something like that for the franchise. And the reason being is because they're, you know, the complexities of a 3D game are so vast compared to, like, Sonic, which is, you know, 2D, sprite-based. Or classic Sonic, I should say. Because the last time that Halo Studios worked with fans, modders, the modders were told no one time, and then one of them leaked everything that they were shared. 90 gigabytes worth of data onto the internet. So, I would understand if Halo Studios or Microsoft were not in the mood to collaborate with fans going forward, at least for the foreseeable future. Because that was an insanely huge breach of trust. And that's not me excusing, like, the behavior, like, the way that they just, you know, viewed it as not real work. It's just, I guess, like, you know, that leak situation sucks for everybody involved. Oh boy. I think one of the issues with Infinite is it was trying to appeal to every Halo fan, and in doing so appealed to no one. Well, Halo Infinite was definitely trying to make most Halo fans happy, but it was also trying to... It was mostly trying to take that classic formula and modernize it and make it accessible to people who have never played a Halo game before. And in that sense, I do think Halo Infinite succeeded. The problem is technical issues, botched launch. Also, I think some of it is just that, like, kids these days aren't really playing games that are 4v4, you know? Like, on Fortnite, you've got, like, concerts happening. And, like, the Death Star invading, like, the Fortnite map. And then you go over to Halo, and it's just like, let's go get the enemy flag. You know? Damn it. Exactly. Well, Shadow tries to approach some scenarios with subtlety and diplomacy. Omega ignores and opts to annihilate and charge his way through everything. Yeah. Andrew, that is a beautiful way to merge and combine Gamma and Omega into sort of the same character, like consolidate everything, and also still keep everything, like, have an emotional through line that keeps it all together. I'm not sure if that's the correct term for through line. I've never used that term in a sentence before. Hopefully I used it correctly. If not, oh well. Oh boy. Sorry, I'm in the zone right now. Damn it. I'm not going to engage. He's got the shield up. Still? How long does that thing last? There we go. Okay, I'm just not going in. They're too fortified. Come on down. Come on, make the play. Okay, I'm gonna go up and see if I can find him. Damn it. Okay. In that way, I think it's just cosmetic video has aged poorly, especially with the rise of Fortnite. What did I say in that video? What was my message that these cosmetic videos were gonna flop? I can't remember what my conclusion was. But it probably has aged poorly. It was probably just like a bunch of like old games better, new games bad, right? I'm imagining that's probably what the video was. Hot take, I love the Halo 3 AR sound. I'm with you. I don't mind it. I won't defend it, because, you know, there were better assault rifle sounds. I don't mind it, though. It fits Halo 3 and the soundscape of Halo 3. Hot take, Fortnite changed the gaming industry for the worst. If it wasn't going to be Fortnite, it was going to be something else. Because gaming had been moving in that direction for a long time. It's, basically what Fortnite did was it took mobile game concepts, which is like free-to-play upfront, and then you make your money through gacha systems, microtransaction systems, like all of that stuff. And then game design is built around funneling you towards spending money or encouraging you to spend money. It was going there eventually. It was just a matter of time. If it wasn't Fortnite, it was going to be something else. Shadow could have shared a fun experience with Gamma that he tries replicating with Omega, earning strange looks and many broken things from the latter. Yeah. Yeah, like Omega would be very just wants to smash things. Like the sad tragedy and kind of like the heart of Shadow and Gamma's bond. It's just not there with Omega, even if Shadow tries to have a connection. Good stuff. Yeah, Andrew, God, it's fun talking Sonic with you, dude. Also, Battle Royale is not a genre, it's a game mode. It's like calling Big Team Battle a genre. Don't know if I'd agree there. Because Big Team Battle is exactly what it says on the tin. It's like the Halo formula, but with bigger teams rather than little teams. You know, it is a game mode within Halo. Where a Battle Royale, if you said Battle Royale, a Battle Royale game, I'm like, got it. It's a game built around the Battle Royale formula. It's a little bit complicated. We could probably talk about the nuances of it later, because I see some of where you're getting, but I think it's a little bit more complicated than that. Battle Royale is both a game mode and a genre of game. Because some games, their whole identity is built around a single mode. Just give me Pigpen, you are a silly dude. Big Team Battle is a game mode. Battle Royale is literally just a game itself. So what do we call no-build, singles, duos, etc.? Game modes of a game mode? Probably. God. My semi-big text was what your skins affects games video was about. Gotcha, okay. At the time, it changes the art style of a game over time, but when you made it, it was doing the armor toggle thing, and people thought it was to hate on the Halo 4 and 5 looking armor coming to MCC. Was it? Okay. Yeah, see, that's silly stuff that doesn't matter. None of it matters. Games don't matter. Yeah, guys, it is late now. I'm going to go take a shower and then spend time with my wife before bed. I'm also going to take my dog out to pee because he was looking at me with his little teddy bear face. This was a fun stream, guys. Thank you for joining. And I hope to see you guys next time. Take care, everybody. Thank you all for joining.